Recording sends me into service. Okay, the recording's on. Good evening. The time is 6:38 and it is June 11, 2026. And this is CEC28. I'm calling this meeting into order. Thank you, everyone, for showing up after you stayed up all night watching those Knicks win. I know you did because I did, and we all did, and we still sent our kids to school, and we still came in this morning, today. So I really appreciate you guys and the Knicks for coming through. Because if they didn't, maybe we would have not been here right now. I'm just joking. We would have still been here, just with not those many smiles. But first and foremost, I'd like to um turn it over to our recording secretary to do roll call.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do the roll call. We have our first Vice President, Lauren Clavin.
Here.
Thank you. Our second Vice President, Jennifer Sobers, is running a little late. She's on her way. Recording Secretary, Chantel Chambers, is present. Treasurer, Alicia Bauer.
Present.
Members, Zhao is not here as yet. Annie Cope is also running late. Kenya Townsend is also running late. Nikita Williams, not here as yet. And Eric Gretsch is also on his way. Cicely Chu. And our President, Quentin Meston.
Here.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Next, I want to ask our first Vice President, Lauren Clavin, if she could please make the announcement about our chat.
Good evening, everyone. So nice to see all of you. Our chat is now open and it will remain that way as long as everyone remains respectful. We will reserve the right to remove anyone or turn off the chat if that should change. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Councilmember Cicely, do you mind paying attention to the chat to see who speaks, making that list? Thank you. All right. Now, before we start our meeting, I got to shout out all the holidays this month because I like to celebrate everyone and everybody in what they believe in, and I like to learn as well. So the primary widely recognized awareness months for June include LGBTQ plus Pride Month, Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, and National PTSD Awareness Month. It's also dedicated to National Safety Month, National Migraine and Headache Awareness Month, Pride Month, National Caribbean American Heritage Month, National Immigrant Heritage Month, Feast of Corpus Christi, a Roman Catholic holiday, Race Unity Day, Baha'i, Martyrdom of Guru Arjan Dev Sahib, Sikh, and Al-Hijra, Islamic New Year. And did anyone not hear something that I should have mentioned? I'll wait. I'll look in the chat. Did I miss a month? Graduation month. Okay. Anything else that I might have missed?
Caribbean Heritage Month. You said that one? You did.
Caribbean Heritage Month. I didn't even know. Thank you, Shadia Mustafa. Father's Day. Look at that, man. I did not say Father's Day, and I did not say Men's Health Month. Listen. No, I didn't say that just to see if somebody else was going to catch it, and we did catch it. So I want to acknowledge, as a husband, as a father, that I understand fathers. We could sometimes get forgotten, and it's hard, and I understand that life could get heavy. We carry responsibilities, we provide for our families, we support our children, and we often put everyone else's needs before our own. I've been there, I know how it is, and I know you do too. This month, I encourage all of you fathers and father figures and every man in our community. please prioritize your physical health, your mental health, and your well-being. Asking for support is not weakness. It's a strength that we need to use more often. Our families don't just need what we do, they need us to be here to do it. To all the fathers again, father figures, I see you, I value you, I'm proud of you if you did not hear that in a while. And I know our moms here are the phenomenal moms, but the other fathers that are out there working behind the scenes, thank you for doing all you do. Please continue your leadership, your sacrifices. Happy Father's Day, happy Men's Health Month. And a strong man is not the one who carries every burden alone. A strong man is the one who knows when to lean on his community so he can continue lifting others. So I want to say that from the bottom of my heart. One of the proudest titles I have are husband, father, and just being a man. So thank you. Happy Father's Day. Happy Men's Health Month. And with that being said,
What's
let's,
your day?
it's National Corn on the Cob.
Day?
I like corn on the cob. So I'm going to take that on Father. I hope my wife is watching this. Corn on the cob on Father's Day. Now, what did we do this last month? We just had our legislative breakfast, which by far I asked everybody in all the other districts in the city was the best CEC legislative breakfast in all of New York City. So not only are we in the best district in New York City, we District 28, but we are the best. We do everything the best. We had the best town hall with the most guests, with the energy, the questions asked were just the most. We were in the newspaper, and now we had the best legislative breakfast. I want to thank all of our council members that came, our elected officials, our district office, teachers, principals, PTA presidents, all the police stations that cover us, the community boards. Like we had everyone show up to support us because they know that we work with the best district and we're the most collaborative and positive and we have the best results. And our borough president loves to tell everyone that Queens gets the money because he gives most of it to us. He gives it to us because we need it from our schools. So we even had SCA and DSF who show up a lot for our schools, who are consistently fixing our bathrooms, fixing the ACs. You let us know what's wrong, they're showing up the next day. So I want to just thank everyone, all of our stakeholders for showing up for us. And I want to give a special shout out to First Deputy Chancellor Genta. She came with the laughs. She was already a part of our community from before, but she came and she knew she was home. She came with the tools for us to continue to succeed. She acknowledged all of our success and told us what's to come, and she kept making us laugh. So thank you, First Deputy Genta. Thank you, Chancellor, for letting us get your two deputies, because I can't not mention Deputy Flavia. Flavia had us in tears. We told her just to come bring greetings, and she came and brought her story. She came with so much love and energy, and she had us in tears, just loving the energy and support that she was giving us. And she was just such a happy person. So we just love, thank you, Chancellor's Cabinet, for coming to our CEC breakfast. Check the other ones, they don't go to those, but they came to ours because they know what time it is. So again, I just want to thank everyone for continuing this great ride as president. I'm just humbled and honored to have such a great council who they're still on their way here, but our council members, I want to say thank you for all the work you guys do behind the scenes in this volunteer position that we lead on. You guys are phenomenal, visiting your schools, following up with emails that we get from our phenomenal 1 in a million at AA, Dorinda. Our AA Dorinda is the one who keeps the lights on. She makes sure that everything is plugged in together. And I just want to take this time to thank her and all the council members and no to any other CEC that's here. Thank you for, they came to our breakfast too, but you can't have Dorinda. I'm sorry. Just keep yours, but we're going to keep ours. So we appreciate that. And other than that, did I thank our face liaison, Tamika? I did not even thank our beautiful face liaison, Tamika. Tamika's here. She's always here with a different hairstyle, showing off all the work she can do. And it's beautiful. She's ready for summer. And I just want to thank her for always showing up for us and holding us down at face. And of course, York College. York College allowed us to host our breakfast at their beautiful um, their school, and it was amazing. The technology was good, their support, the view, the whole table setup, the everything was beautiful, and the food was amazing. The high school for food and finance. Thank you, students, for the food. Chef Bobby for taking care of us again. Looking forward to doing this again in another 2 years. So thank you, everyone. I just want to keep thanking you guys. But that's all the thanks, all the stakeholders, Phoebe, um, Dr. Hall. Like you guys are the last thank yous. Thank you, all of you guys, for coming through and always showing up for us, and we'll keep on showing up for you. So now let's turn it over to the man of the hour who's been doing this flawlessly with a smile, our proud, honorable Superintendent Dr. Blake.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Especially to the chairperson, Quentin Messitin, council members, all elected officials, union reps like Bruce Zayal, families, and all school leaders, and of course, our youngsters. Welcome all. Thanks for joining us as we close out another remarkable year in District 28. Tonight is about a little reflection, and I'll share the stage with my new deputy superintendent. Angela Tushman will join us later. But tonight is about reflection on our progress. And it's not the work of just one individual, but it reflects true partnership. And of course, this is true partnership with our elected officials who have given us the resources to fund our schools. To the families, you are the foundation of everything we do in District 28. And of course, our students, you are the heart of everything we do. To our principals, teachers, staff, and the entire community, I say, thanks for the great year of collaboration. In District 28, we have seen outstanding academic outcomes, where we have created student opportunities, many opportunities for our students. Family engagement is at an all-time high in the district. And now, as we look ahead, what are we hoping to achieve? Well, I'm hoping under my leadership to raise the expectations and outcomes for all students. I'm hoping to strengthen the partnership with families and the community because there's always room for improvement. So we are constantly trying to strengthen the partnership. And of course, as a superintendent, I'm also providing support for all the educators, providing them with the tools so that they can strive, that they can, thrive and serve our students the very best. I want to make sure under my leadership that District 28 is a place where every child can succeed and where every voice is heard. In closing this aspect, I wish you a safe, restful, and joyful summer. And we're looking forward ahead to continue the great work and momentum in District 28. I'm going to ask Vic to share the slide so we could go back to the slide. So District 28, 25, 26 is an academic impact report. And as our new motto says, we are rooted in purpose and of course, rising in impact. Rooted in purpose and rising in impact is our mantra. We have to be rooted in the purpose of getting all our students over the finishing line to get them prepared, not just for elementary, but for life as it were. As such, we believe that there's an equity. We look at equity as a lever for achievement for every single scholar, where every child can succeed. Our mission is to maintain high academic standards, as I spoke about before, promoting critical thinking and fostering community advocacy. We have to be advocates for our scholars. Celebrating our beautiful diversity to unlock unlimited possibilities and to commit to the inestimable contribution of the lives of our scholars, leaving them better than we have found them. That is the aim and the mission of the district. As such, there are 4 pillars that we are using to root our cause. 1, every instruction that we teach, core instruction has to be standard aligned which means that all lessons must be aligned to grade level standards and objectives. That is teaching with intentionality, not just teaching, shooting from the hips, but to really focus on our, grade level standards. Number two, to achieve this, we believe in explicit instruction and small groups, where we're executing the gradual release model, which is trying to give kids independence, but to hold their hands, so to speak, and then gradually to promote independence through independence practice. And pillar number three is to promote active student engagement. We believe that consistent engagement through questioning, discussions, and checks for understanding is the foundation of good learning. And number four, fourth pillar, is to look at what the data says, data-driven differentiation or data-driven decision-making, where we adjust instruction based on formative assessments to meet diverse needs within the core lesson for every child, regardless of so-called labels, whether it's our kids with special needs or MLL students. This is a place where every child has to be met where they are and elevate those students. All right, so I'm going to call on this is the last. So look at this. We have gone up 31 points. We have just done a strong, deep assessment of the district in terms of our progress monitoring. And right now, we have decreased by 31 points, levels 1 and 2. Levels 3 and 4, we increased by 31 points, 21%. Now we are at 52%. So all the measures, all our schools, 100% of our schools showed significant improvement from beginning to end of year based on the assessment that we have used. And of course, we're sure that that will be aligned with the result of the state standards exam as well. So our students are doing very well and the district is moving. So those are some of the figures. 31 percentage points should be the takeaway in all our schools. Every one of the 36 schools shown improvement from beginning of year to end of year. So that is really outstanding movements, and not every district can boast about this. And we are proud to lift this up. And I'm proud to share this stage that this is not done by one person or done in isolation, but all of us coming together, the district team members, the leaders in our schools are so dedicated, the elected officials, and of course, our families and the CEC, of course, the best in the city. Now I'm going to call upon my leader and my co-leader, Angela, to take us through the rest of this presentation. Just want to model collaboration. Could you put your arm on mute, Angela Tushman?
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to be here with you all. Thank you, Dr. Blake. And so I will continue talking about some of the amazing things that District 28 succeeded in this year. We are also talking about scaling our success through New York City South. So Dr. Blake just discussed our math scores thus far. And as for next year, I'm sure you've heard the term already, New York City Solves. We've also been implementing New York City Reads. This is the math component of that. We are having a district-wide implementation. 100% of all of our 36 schools are actively implementing the New York City math shifts, driven by knowledgeable and aligned principal leadership. The principals have been leading this work throughout the last year. We will have actively implemented New York City South shifts, and we will be implementing across all middle schools. 100% of our 8 middle schools will going to be implementing Amplify Desmos as our curriculum for mathematics in the 26-27 school year. So all middle schools will be implementing Amplify Desmos as the New York City Solves curriculum. We will continue to improve and be part of PDSA cycles, which are plan, do, study, and act. And that means that we find small problems of practice in our schools, in our classrooms, and we look for ways that we can study that problem and solve that problem, and then scale the success of what we've implemented across our schools and across our district. And so we will continue to do PDSA cycles over the coming year. So we will continue to elevate literacy through targeted instruction. That is our New York City Reads. We did have a 5% increase in students at or above benchmark in Acadience from winter to winter. Acadience is the screener that we use for early childhood grades where students are really learning to read, learning phonics, phonemic awareness, letter sound recognition. And so we did that, and we'll continue to do that with explicit instruction. And this year, by using explicit instruction, we've increased our use of explicit instruction by 22%. We've increased our small group instruction, and we will continue to do so. And we've increased our independent practice of what the teacher has taught with students in the classroom. This high rate of independent reading and writing is in collaboration with the small group and the explicit instruction, all part of the reading time and writing time in the classroom is what has led us to these measurable successes. And we will continue on this path with New York City Reads through the use of our HMH curriculum and these best practices, because we all know that it's not about the curriculum or the text that we're using, but it's about the instructional moves that we're making. And so we hope that we plan to sustain our growth for multilingual learners. We have had a 40% measurable growth in English proficiency as measured by LData. We have had 12% of our students reach full proficiency. That is a 4-point increase from the previous year. And that is all while serving close to 4,000 multilingual learners across our district. And those 43917 multilingual learners make up 19% of the students across District 28. And of those students, 85% of them are newcomers. So this is no small feat, and we should be celebrating this amazing success because many of these students, 85% of our MELs, are brand new to the country, brand new to the language. So to be able to make that level of growth is a true testament to what's happening in our classrooms and what our leaders are doing in their schools. I want to acknowledge that we will be adding bilingual and multilingual programming from 4. We currently have 4 schools with bilingual and multilingual programming, and next year we will have 7. We are launching new dual language and bilingual special education programs as well. So bilingual and dual language self-contained 12 to 1-to-1 classrooms. We will see more of those across the district in the coming school year. And we will continue to deploy inclusive classroom resources with bilingual libraries and Spanish literacy curriculum and AI-enhanced family communication tools. Enhanced, not led and not solely AI, but enhanced by AI. So we are, as a district, leading our city in special education and inclusion with our innovative programs. We have 6 District 28 schools that were selected for the Citywide Inclusion Innovators Pilot. We improved 12 to 1-to-1 structures for students with autism in the K-2 grade bands. We've increased targeted support through direct coaching with central leadership of special education, as well as district representation of our special education programs. We've advanced our sensory gyms and behavior support modification programs for our students with special needs through the support of our district team. And we have created educator empowerment by creating citywide leaders in read and write implementation with over 300 of our educators trained. And we have executed a 3-day Spring into Inclusion and targeted 2-day neurodiversity training for educators in the district. We continue to elevate student wellness and support for our students with MTSS and crisis response, strengthening our collaboration with special education and pupil personnel school support. We are enhancing our school-based capacity with coaching and clinical consultation and expanded partnerships and celebration of our school social workers and mental health providers. All of this is in alignment to the chancellor's priorities and the district's priorities of Dr. Blake's, and we will continue to elevate not only student outcomes in reading, writing, math, and so on, but also mental health and wellness. This year, we have and will in the coming year continue to invest deeply in our teachers and our leaders. I am proud to say that with the leadership of myself and 3 other principals, Dr. Tiffany Hicks, Principal Petrello, who I saw on the call, and Principal Sandusky, we have graduated 19 aspiring leaders from our Aspiring Leadership Program. They just graduated 2 weeks ago. And so we are hopeful that many of those people will go on to become leaders in our district. We did just have one recently from the pipeline become a new leader in our district, Dr. Frankie Simmons, who has taken the helm at Middle School 217 from me as I exited out from there. So that's a testament to our pipeline program. We've had we went from 3 teaching fellows sites in our district to now 5. We've recruited 130 new educators. We have had 200 plus mentoring experiences, and we've expanded our teacher centers, our UFT teacher centers, and literacy coaching within our school buildings. And we have processed and honored 130 people for tenure this year. So that is also absolutely amazing. Tenure for principals, teachers, assistant principals, social workers, secretaries, you name it, we tenured them this year. So I know what's top of mind for many people is what's happening with small class size. We are going to see a $1.5 billion capital funding plan to invest in creation of smaller classes, $244 million for teacher hiring in the coming fiscal year. We have immediate implementation across the city. We are hiring in District 28 so that the city can meet our 70% benchmark. We are focused on equity so that we can prioritize the learning for our students in our highest needs schools. We have a system-wide approach and pathway to compliance for the city, and then that pathway to compliance for New York City ultimately trickles down to our district. There are public hearings from June 25th to July 28th and to hear ongoing input around smaller class size. While we are waiting for budgets, right, to be finalized. The state budget was late, and so we are waiting for communication from the city about how that budget will then impact the funding that will be provided to individual schools so that they may reduce their class size. So unfortunately tonight, I do not have an answer for you over which schools will be funded for reduced class sizes. We are still waiting for those final words from the city to say which schools' proposals were approved. Okay, so that is forthcoming. And we are going to continue to push for capital investment, talent investment, and so that we can create the space for our students to have smaller class size, because we all know that that is at the heart of what many of our schools need, our capital investments for spacing and for reallocating of existing space to become classrooms. And so there is a commitment from the New York City Department of Public Schools, I keep calling it Department of Education, but there is a commitment from the city to create more spaces and optimize the space that already exists. And again, I urge you to have your voice heard during these public hearings times, so that we can make sure that these capital investments are brought right here to District 28. I want to thank our CEC members who have been out in the field at our schools, walking the walk alongside our leaders and meeting with officials, elected officials, and New York City Public School officials, everyone from Parks Department, New York City Parks Department, as well as people from New York City Public Schools, district planning and facilities, to think about how we can best meet the needs of our schools when it comes to space. So we Shifting gears for a moment, we are looking ahead to Summer Rising, which begins in just a few short weeks. July 1st is the launch of the Summer Rising. And August 7th is when it concludes for grades 6 through 8. And our students who receive extended school year, that 12-month school year on their IEP, they will conclude August 12th. And then August 14th is the conclusion of Summer Rising for students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade. All of our sites for Summer Rising are fully staffed with principals in charge, site supervisors, which are assistant principals, and we are continuously hiring. I believe almost all sites have been staffed. It is a great thing to know that so many people want to work Summer Rising, and so we have been able to retain many educators to come back year over year to teach in the summer months. So we are looking to have all of our staffing finalized by next week. And so with that, I just want to say thank you for a wonderful year. We're truly looking forward to another partnership next year where we will expand on what Dr. Blake shared with you is our theme for the coming school year, which is rooted in purpose and rising in impact. And I'm just going to read to you, sorry, I have my notes here, what we as a district have created as our statement, our theme statement around this new theme. And you are one of the first groups to begin to hear about this theme for next year. Again, rooted in purpose and rising in impact. And so our district is already rooted in purpose, grounded in strong relationships, shared vision, and collective responsibility. And we will continue to rise in impact by strengthening our instructional practice, deepening our collaboration, and achieving measurable gains in our student outcomes, as Dr. Blake mentioned earlier. And we will move from coming together, because the last few years we have been coming together and then working together. And now we are looking to really highly achieve together so that we can ensure every school will operate as a unified and high-performing system within our district. So again, that is a little glimpse into what our theme for next year will be. And so I'm really looking forward to it. And I want to thank you again for your support in my transition to this new role. And I hope that you do have a safe and restful summer. But I believe we'll be seeing each other then as well. So that's a good thing. And enjoy. Thank you very much for your time tonight and allowing us to present to you.
Great. Before you go, we have a couple questions from council member.
Hi, thank you for the presentation, Dr. Blake and Principal Tushman. Deputy Superintendent Tushman, also Principal Tushman, also fabulous Tushman. Two things I wanted to, and I'm just looking here just because you're here, but also Dr. Blake as well. Is that these numbers and the results are wonderful. They're just really, really great. But as always, we would like to know, and I'm sure families want to know the breakdown of these. Not now, I know you don't have that now, but coming up maybe in September or something, because in the aggregate is one thing, but there are certainly still disparities between schools that have been brought to our attention. And so we always, I think, as a council, we want to ensure that those disparities are lessened. I also, I noticed that the benchmark in the beginning of the school year for CEP goals for ELA and math, they tend to be based off of testing that's done that September or October versus whatever was the ending goal for the grade like now, so in June. So you'll have something that might happen. These are numbers that are made up where perhaps because of whatever reason, summer slide or whatever, the benchmark is quite low. And so it is quite easy to have an increase because it started so low. So then we want to maybe, is it possible to have a bench line that we never go under? So for example, we always want students to be at, I don't know, 40, 50%, 60, whatever it is, so that we're not starting at 30 and celebrating something that goes up, where we want to make sure that there's always, you know, a bench line, you know, like a basis that we don't want to go down. I don't know how we can build that in. I do know many families have, you know, expressed that concern, that we're just starting sometimes at a lower benchmark. I don't know if you can speak to that.
Yeah, so thank you for that. It's a great point. So, and of course, if Dr. Blake wants to chime in as well, because again, we're sitting here looking at each other. No, so when you talk about using data from say this end of this year to the end of next year, what that data would more or less be either the iReady or usually the state test performance. And so say your child is in third grade and they take the New York State exams and they're taking that test is based on third grade standards. When they come into school in September and they're being assessed with those benchmarks in September, they're now being assessed on fourth grade standards. So test like comparing, it's really comparing apples to oranges to have them looking at our third grade data to our third grade standards to our fourth grade standards, right? So if they're using a benchmark from beginning of the year to end of the year, you're measuring the same standards, which is a lot of times why schools will choose or districts will choose to look at the benchmark from beginning of the year to the benchmark of end of the year, because it's the same students testing on the same standards from beginning to end. And you're seeing the progress within those standards over the course of the school year, rather than I'm looking at you as a third grader, now I'm looking at you as a fourth grader. But definitely the New York State assessments and the iReady assessments are used more locally in the classrooms to look at where kids were and to where they need to go. I mean, that data doesn't disappear, but it is usually a measure for a CEP and DCEP to look at current data from that school year. But I hear what you're saying, and there is room to maybe make that data more public. And so those are things that we could talk about either here or at CEP meetings. I believe most school leaders look at those things at CEP meetings throughout the course of the year. And obviously measuring year to year data of New York State assessments, we all do that, yes.
And just to chime in,
Understood, totally understood. I guess
cool.
what may happen.
I think Benoit. No, continue. Dr. Benoit, did you want to?
Oh, hi. I apologize. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, in addition to what Deputy Tushman said, one thing that we can offer is to provide data comparing fall to fall, right? And spring to spring, so that we have a better idea and picture of, as an aggregate, how are our students faring, moving from grade to grade. So yes, as Deputy Tushman says, the standards are different. In third grade, in the spring of third grade, they are assessed on using third grade standards. And then when they move on to fourth grade in the fall, they're assessed at fourth grade standards. But again, what we can do to help parents better understand, I guess, the impact, right, that our instructional practices have on cohorts of students, we can do September 2025 compared to September 2026, spring 2025, September 2026. I think that'll give, a clearer picture, than what council member, sorry, I don't have my glasses to see who had asked the question, but what the council member had asked. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think Raj wanted to to touch on that as well.
Thank you so much. I think Dr. Blake wanted to say something. I'm going to toss it to him before I say anything.
Yes, thank you so much about that question. Usually we are guided about how to make realistic goals. So for example, we are usually statistically within the 3% to 5% range as being obtainable and realistic. So we don't want to make like wide aspirational goals that's not smart or not measurable. So usually you'll find the jump could be like 3% and 5%. But the whole idea is that we're moving kids from where we meet them to where they need to be. And as the others have said, so that's how we sort of look on it. Sometimes, and we always try, like for example, last year we set a particular goal benchmark for ELA and we exceeded it. In math, we went way above it. So we always try to be statistically sort of cautious and not over promising or over delivering. Thanks, Roger. You could continue to respond.
Thank you, Dr. Blake. So I think Dr. Blake covered and the nexus I was going to message. We do have our DCEP goals, and those are the actual goals for the district for the year. So those goals are public, and as Dr. Blake mentioned, we're looking at a 3% growth. What Deputy Superintendent shared is how what we're doing right now, the growth we're making right now, is actually projected to reach those targets. Right, so we are in a very good position to reach our 3% DCEP goals for the year. So the data that she shared is a reflection of our progress towards those DCEP goals.
Thank you. So, thank you for that presentation. And any parents that want to ask, please put speak. We will come back to this conversation. Our district stays here with us the whole time, so they look forward to always supporting us. So we will continue with our regularly scheduled programming. And next, we have our candidate interview. So, want to make sure our candidate is Lauren. Let's see.
Lauren, she's in her.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Lauren Perkins.
All right. Okay, cool. So, camera on so we could spotlight you. There you are. All right. So, as many of you community know, we had a vacant seat on our council for a little while now. And you probably didn't know because the council members here have been doing so much work advocating for all the schools that people didn't notice. But we do have a parent that did see the vacancy, and she was vetted by face and passed everything with flying colors. And now she is here as our candidate for the vacancy. So we are now going to move forward with the interview questions. And I want to turn this over to our second vice president, Jennifer Sobers.
Good evening. Good evening, Ms. Perkins. So glad that you are here and that you have applied for membership to the CEC. I'm very happy to have you here. We're gonna be asking you today 4 questions. They'll be posed by different council members. You'll have 2 minutes. Is it Quentin? Okay. If the questions, the answers to the questions will be 2 minutes. But we'll give you a minute or so for introduce yourself to us and to the 2 minutes, 2 minutes introduction in the beginning. Is if somebody it will be timing. Chantel, our recording secretary will be timing. Just let me know when she can start her introduction. All right, please start.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and I am very honored to be a candidate for the vacant seat. I am a District 28 mom with 2 children currently attending school in the district. One of my children is in elementary school, kindergarten, and the other one is entering into middle school. So that gives me a real current connection with families at 2 very important stages of education. My experience with both elementary school and middle school in District 28 has been great. I have met some caring educators, strong school communities, and I see that it makes a difference when families and schools work together. But I have also faced some real challenges with schools, like my daughter's middle school's after schools funding being cut. And with middle school being such a critical age with our children growing and facing so many things like drugs and gangs and outside influences, with tragedies happening like Jade and Pierre, this was something that was very alarming to me. When our funding gets cut, our children really feel it. So I come to this work as a parent who sees what happened when environments are also not safe, because my son was in a community school. He is in special education where he was exposed to unsafe conditions and he ended up eating paint. His lead levels went up and we still deal with the behavioral challenges from that. So no parent should ever have to wonder whether the school building is safe, if their children are safe, or if the environment is at risk. I'm also the founder of Autism Out Loud Incorporated, where I support families who are trying to navigate the school system, who do have children with IEPs, 504s, and need to advocate for their children. That work is very personal to me, but it has also taught me how many parents need clear communication, strong support, and someone willing to listen to their problems before they become a crisis, like me. So I'm seeking this seat because I want to bring a voice to a parent who has been on both sides of the positive and challenging experiences. I'm sorry, I'm rushing. And I want to help strengthen communication between families, schools, protect programs that should not be cut, and make sure that safety and funding is always a priority in the environment, because you should never have to send your child to school and worry about if your child is safe and a safe space and under good influence. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, we're gonna have our first question will be presented by our treasurer, Alicia.
Good day. The first question, District 28 is very diverse, economically, politically, ethnically, and academically. How would you approach building trust and ensuring that all families feel safe and supported through your role on the council?
So to build trust with someone, especially ethnically, you have to be diverse with culture. I feel like in Queens is the most diverse borough in New York City, right? We can go and get some Chinese food, some Indian food, Jamaican food. Like, we have to be non-ignorant and knowledgeable to culture and have a large sense of empathy for what people are going through. Sometimes we listen just to respond, but if we listen to actually care about what people are going through and then help to bring a solution to their problem, I think it would solve a lot of issues when it comes to equity and inclusion and helping parents to feel safe to speak up and be in their environments in the school. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you so much. I'll ask you the next question. What are the 3 issues or topics you are most passionate about highlighting on the CEC board? And why are those priorities important to you?
The three topics are inclusion, advocacy. I'm sorry, I'm like, I'm talking to my children at the same time. Inclusion, advocacy, and safe environments for our children. Inclusion being that children with all abilities are able to have safe access to education in safe places, smaller classrooms for general ed, so they also feel supported, advocacy for our children and for the parents. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Our next question will be asked by Annie.
Hi, Ms. Perkins, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. Yes.
Hi, Annie. You probably answered a lot of this question already when you introduced yourself, but I'll ask it again. So if there's anything to add to this,
Sure.
what unique skills, experiences, or perspectives do you bring that you believe would strengthen the work of the council?
Well, I think that because I have built such positive relationships with schools and District 28, and I've seen how wonderful programming can be. And not only after school programming, I know that for my daughter's elementary school, they have such a unique STEM program where they teach building, they teach fashion. It's like these things can really help shape who a child is and help introduce things to them that they might have not have access to before at home, right? But then on the contrary, I have experienced such challenging things within the school system, lack of accountability, lack of safe spaces, to where I want to ensure that, for one, our buildings are up to par, and that our children, no matter their abilities, feel safe, and that parents feel safe to send their children to school, but also feel safe enough to speak up and complete surveys and to be a part of the school community without being targeted. And that goes from on an immigrant level, right? Because sometimes parents don't want to speak up because they don't know if they're going to be exposed, right? And it shouldn't be that way, because now this causes a breach or a lack or a disadvantage in their child's education. So I think that parents need to be heard as well as the children, and everybody needs to be safe.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
Welcome.
Thanks so much. Our last
welcome.
question will be asked by Quentin.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. This is the fourth question. Are you willing to attend all monthly CEC meetings in person and serve as a liaison for up to 4 schools in the district? This would include visiting the schools and building relationships with their communities.
It would be my pleasure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was easy.
That was the easy one.
Great. Since you answered that so quickly, if you want to add anything else, those are all the questions we have.
I'm really just honored to be here. I feel like this is a missing piece of the puzzle. If I am nominated, just know that I'm ready to work. I'm eager to work. I'm ready to work. I'm going to do my work with honor to the best of my ability. And I don't think you guys will be disappointed at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, Lauren Perkins, for
You're welcome.
going through our interview. And please stay, because we will be making our vote in our business section of the meeting.
Okay.
And it'll be good for you to be here. So next on our agenda is our public comment. And before I go to public comment, I just want to acknowledge all the principals that showed up. Thank you so much for always showing up and being consistent and bringing us your greetings. It was lovely seeing you at the breakfast. For all of you that I think were here came, we appreciate you. Like, thank you so much. And please put P by your name because I always like shouting you guys out so I don't miss any of you guys. And of course, our U of T rep, Bruce, and our Title I rep, Shadia Mustafa. But now we're going to the public comment section, and I'm going to start with the parents who chose to show up in person. They chose the weather, they chose the address to come here, and we appreciate them. So, yes. So, first parent we have is Jessica Zelo. Is that
No, it's on us.
All right, I figured out how to unmute myself. Excellent. So happy June. I'm so glad that we're at the tail end of the school year yet again. I'm actually coming to speak about the continuous building of large apartment buildings yet again down Queens Boulevard. There's two more that are slated right by the hospital at 67th Avenue and Queens Boulevard. More there. Russell Sage and Halsey can't accept any more kids. They're at capacity. Same thing with the elementary schools. Jamaica's also going to go through a development rezoning right. The CEC should have a seat with the ULARP process with the community board so they can truly voice the concerns of the parent. While I understand the district may show up, I'm not quite sure that they're actually truly showing the numbers and what we're seeing within the school. That also bleeds into the class size stuff that it's not transparent as to how the schools are doing it. It should not have been on the ballot that I think it was in Richmond Hill High School that they were asking for participatory budgeting to consolidate a library so they could have more classrooms. You should not be removing libraries from a school. It was guaranteed that that kind of stuff would not disappear from the schools. But while I understand the need for people to sort of move to the area, you have to build schools to go along with it. The Association saves 46 seats for Russell Sage in 3 years. Halsey. And they should not, the Association spent $86,000 on one elevator. Like the borough president put out a whole thing from the SCA, and I know Sasha went, I was unable to attend, but they should tell us actually how they're spending their money. That's our tax dollars at work. How are we spending $86,000 on one elevator or escalator? They weren't really clear. So I'm just bringing to light yet again, there are more development processes in place. Northwell Health just bought the building that used to be like a mall. So who's to say that they're not going to redevelop that to be a large hospital or more apartment buildings? It's not even the schools anymore. It's also the infrastructure, like the subways, the buses, and the other things, right? I ride the subway now in the morning. It is packed, and it didn't necessarily need to be that. And right, it's not just one area of Queens. This seems to be happening all over the place. So if we can advocate, and so that you guys can have a seat at the table, because our district sits on a couple of different community boards, I find that you'd be a better representation at those meetings than unfortunately the district. Because the developers go to the SCA goes to somebody else, they flub the numbers and they say they're not gonna tip the scales, and us as parents know that we're not gonna hit capacity. And my other comment is that somebody can tell the transportation committee, OPT, whoever delivers the Omni card that they shouldn't be shut off at the last 2 weeks of August. That would be great, because that's what happens when students have Omni cards. They actually get shut off. Kids are still working, they still have camp, they still have to get to school for certain events, but yet they're stuck nowhere, right? They either are jumping the turnstile or they're just riding for free on buses. So happy summer.
Happy summer. Thank you, Jessica. You dropped a lot of stuff, and we are taking notes because that's what we do, and we will follow up with you. Appreciate that. Next, I would like to invite our community member who's been here from the beginning, the inception of District 28, the inception of community boards and of CECs, and knows and educates us all and mentors a lot. Please, Vanessa Sparks.
Yes, I was trying to unmute myself. Good evening to the greatest CEC in the city. That is CEC 28. I bring greetings. I'm here in a dual capacity. I bring greetings from the Education Committee for Community Board 12 under the leadership of Ms. Latoya LeGrand and Reverend Carlene Thorpe, our chair. And I am also here as the community engagement coordinator for Councilman Ty Hankerson. So I just bring greetings from both camps. So I first want to just congratulate District 28 and CEC28 for another phenomenal school year. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. And I just want to say congratulations to each and every one of you. I also want to congratulate the CEC for putting together a wonderful and fabulous legislative breakfast. It was a really, y'all really did your thing. I was a proud mama. I was a proud alumni to see what y'all done. A couple of things I want to drop in the chat. Councilman Ty Hankerson, in partnership with New York City Public Schools District 75, will be holding an open house. I'm just going to drop it in the chat. An open house for the new D75 school that will be located inside of PS 80. It will be on Wednesday, June 17th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. It is open to all prospective parents, parents that may have children that can attend this school the next couple of years. It will be a K-2 school. And they're not going to just talk about this particular school. They're also going to be there to answer questions for parents of children that have IEPs or 504s. So the school will be a K-2 school. 90% of the children will be children that are on the spectrum, 6 to 1 to 1, 8 to 1 to 1. So we're inviting Quentin. I'm expecting to see you there. I'm really expecting to see you there next week, this coming Wednesday. I have also reached out to the early childhood centers in that community. I think it's really important that our early childhood CBOs know about the school, as those children, once they graduate out, they will be entering our elementary schools. And many of those children, their families often have to send them across the borough or even out of the borough for an appropriate placement. So please share with your network. As I said, I dropped it in the chat. And I just want to say one thing. Miss Zillow hit it spot on. I, as a member of the Education Committee for CB12, I would really, really encourage you guys to start attending, particularly our land use and transportation meetings. Community Board 12 has an extremely robust education, land use, and transportation committee. And someone from the CEC, because as Ms. Zillow said, when many of these what I have found is over the past couple of years, when whether it's city planning or these developers are talking about putting all of these buildings up, and the question always comes, have you considered schools in all of this building? And the majority of time, the answer has been no. So I think it would be really, really important for someone from the Education Council that represents the parents of the district to start attending these meetings so they can provide a voice for the families that have students in said areas. So I just want to say spot on to Ms. Zillow for that observation. And I want to wish everybody a happy, a safe, and a fun summer. And God willing, I will see all of you in September. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate. And yes, I will see you June 17th. I will be there. Thank you for the shout out. Next, we have another phenomenal parent leader, Sasha Cruz.
Great. So good evening. Thank you guys for being here and taking the time. A few months ago, I did bring up how the inequity it is across our district. And I think Ms. Ishman, an amazing presentation, because to see all those numbers go up, I think it's phenomenal. It speaks volumes to the dedication that the district has on trying to close in that gap on the schools. And, you know, it sounds very contagious, and how do we get all schools to do, and what as parent leaders can we do to ensure that our schools are also equally great and being able to meet those numbers. And I think the data is, you know, speaks in transparency. Ms. Sobers, you hit spot on where we would like to see from a school, how is each school measuring up to that? And so I will actually drop some of the data. I do sit in SLT in both PS 139 and in Russell Sage. And so I did bring up in our last, and I have it here in front of me as well, is the honors placement test. I'm sorry, the honors placement program at Russell
What about
Sage.
your mama?
There's a big disparity between the schools. I dropped it on the chat for people so you guys could see. You did great. Okay. We'll have to go home. All right, so PS 144 has 28% get into the honors program, 174 has 14%, PS 101 has 23.6. And I do know 99 might be a little short because this was the first year that they transitioned from sixth grade graduate to fifth grade graduate. So, you know, understanding the data and why there's that disparity. PS 139 is at 5.5. So I think that this is kind of very telltale on how can at least the 5 schools that go into the majority into Russell Sage, how can we leverage that, right? You can see a really big inequality on what going into and how the preparedness is into these honors program, and how can we break the status quo, because as parents, you know, yes, not every kid, you know, meets the honors, but I feel that if we set up the standards pretty high, at least our kids can get that average, right? And so as a parent, I want to be able to see how I could break these barriers, and how can we as parent leaders support getting there and getting the resources. I think what's very important is if we could get a training on how we can understand the school budget, where we can make sure that Central actually reimburse the schools. Understanding, I think, you know, Greco does a really good job on SLT meetings to be able to, like, you know, share the transparency on a monthly basis on the budget. All principals should do that, right? Because we should be leveraging what those numbers and those dollars help support to make sure our kids get the best education here at our district. So, thank you.
Thank you. You guys can hear online, but there was like a round of applause after the last couple of speakers. So thank you. All right, next parent, we have another parent advocate. Happy Father's Day and happy Men's Health Month, Kevin Lee.
Hi, Quentin. And thanks for rocking the shorts. It's a hot day. I want to say good evening, Chairperson, council members, superintendent, and fellow parents. My name is Kevin. I'm a parent in District 28. And happy Father's Day, Quinn. Yes, it's really important. I wanted to make a brief comment tonight about civic engagement and the importance of working through the many, many channels available to families in our school communities. One of the great strengths of our public education system is that parents have a voice. We have parent associations, school leadership teams, CECs, school administrators, district leadership, the Department of Education, elected officials, community boards, and even the local precinct community affairs officers when public safety concerns arise. These channels exist for a reason. They allow us to raise concerns, ask questions, seek accountability, and work towards solutions together. At the same time, I'm here tonight because I am concerned by the increasing use of anonymous social media accounts and online rumors to criticize schools, educators, and administrators. Social media can be useful for sharing information, but it should not replace transparency, accountability, or respectful dialogue. Anonymous accusations and misinformation may generate attention, but they rarely generate solutions. It is at best, a public safety issue in the wrong hands. I would also encourage our institutions to take parent and student concerns seriously. Parents have a responsibility to engage through established channels, and institutions have a responsibility to listen and respond when they do. Many important improvements begin with one person noticing a problem and speaking up. Regardless of the issue before us, the solution is often the same. Parents, school leaders, community organizations, and public agencies working together through the established channels available to us. When parents feel heard, they participate. When they feel ignored, frustration often moves elsewhere. Our goal should be strong schools, open communication, and constructive engagement through the many channels available to our community. Thank you for your time and for your service to District 28. Happy Father's Day again.
Thank you, Kevin. Likewise, happy Father's Day. And thank you for just your advocacy and all you do in the community. We appreciate you. Next parent, Haley Leung. All right.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to thank you all for giving everyone an opportunity to speak here. I wanted to, I agree with the idea about encouraging parents and staff and all school personnel to be able to discuss issues, well, positive and negative, give positive feedback and also address any concerns so that everyone can feel like they can speak without having things become go out of control in any way. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants what's best. And even if everyone doesn't agree with what needs to be done or whatever the issue is, it's great for parents to be able to know that they can speak and that people will listen, and that the regulations will be followed and that there will be no retaliation for people attempting to raise issues. I think most people can agree that raising an issue or just discussing concerns should be something that all people should feel comfortable doing. And I also wanted to ask a little bit separately if there are any opportunities within this group for parents who are interested in giving input or being a part of the process for the implementation of more nonfiction books and that all grades can be reading at the same time and doing things like book reports and doing things like book reports and writing at length in the way that it used to be, where there were some common books that all students could do, because I feel that learning to discuss books can help improve communication for all people. And if we want to improve conditions, I think it's good when people can talk to each other. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to use that opportunity from Jelly to remind everyone we do have a phenomenal website and we do have committees that are open for community members to join our committees on our council. So please always feel free to go to our resources, CEC28.org. And we look forward to just sharing more information there. And you can always see what committees are there. And if you would like to join, just send us an email. And we would love to have you as part of our committees where we could have these conversations in those places and bring these ideas. So thank you for that. Next. Oh, wait, hold on. All right. So now we've been waiting for this moment since forever. This is the man of the hour. He shows up, but when he shows up, he looks like he's just one. He's thousands. This man gets things done. The man of the hour with the popping of his collar, the one and only Mr. Fantastic Bruce Z. Hall, UFT rep.
Thanks, Quentin. And hello everyone. It's great to be with all of you. I think we've had a great school year, and the reason that's been great and why we have such an amazing district is because of all the collaboration that takes place. And I really appreciate all the work that the CEC does. The UFT appreciates it. We appreciate your collaboration. We appreciate the collaboration of the district office with us, with parents, and we appreciate all the educators that are on, of course, all the educators that make our schools so great, that are on this meeting this evening, and also the elected officials, of course, who are always so important to helping our schools be the best that they can be, and our district to be the best that they can be, that it can be. So, speaking of collaborations, and before even that, yeah, I agree with Vanessa. Legislative breakfast was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I thought it gets better and better every year. And it was a great time to make connections. And I even made some connections there that within a couple of weeks, because of those connections, we were able to accomplish some things, in our schools and for our students. So yeah, I really encourage that to continue. That's a great event. Um, in terms of collaborations, we've had some great collaborations over recent weeks. Superintendent's office and District 28 UFT held a educator celebration for our educators in District 28. Quentin, our CEC president, attended, as well as Jennifer Sobers, our second vice president. And really a great time was had by all, and our educators who was celebrated really appreciated it so much, and they deserve it because they do so much for the students in this district and the schools in our district. We also had, which I don't think was mentioned yet, a District 28 literacy and civics share fair at the Queens UFT office, where our schools came together and shared promising practices regarding literacy in our schools. And, which was great for the first time, we had students from our schools who are involved in civics work within our schools, and they were very happy to be there. I was very happy to have conversations with them as well, discussing all the great work that they've done surrounding civics. I think that's very important for us to remember. I know the focus is always on literacy and math, but there's more to life than literacy and math. All right, and civics, citizenship is extremely important, as well as the arts. So we need to encourage all those things going on in our schools as well. A couple of updates about things that I've been talking about, and I was very happy to see in the district's presentation with their slides that Deputy Superintendent Tushman spoke to two slides that were devoted to class size, smaller class size. And I hope everyone knows, I don't know if everyone knows, that the city, through the state legislature, has received a 2-year extension on implementing the state class size law. And Deputy Superintendent Tushman mentioned that the goal citywide for this coming school year is to meet 70% compliance with the state class size law limits instead of 80%, which the DOE was supposed to reach originally as of this September. And I know our district does as much as it possibly can with regard to meeting the class size law limitations. But I think we have to look at where we got, how did we get to this situation where the city is able to and is asking for an extension? Reason is the city didn't do what they were supposed to be doing within the first several years of this law, where the overall capital plan still remains inadequate. So we have to hold the city's feet to the fire in terms of that and work together on that particular issue. And also, although we as a district, and that was a great thing that one of the great things that Dr. Blake has brought to the district, where we have a hiring fair for our own district, although we make efforts in our district to hire educators, the city as a whole, the DOE as a whole, still lacks any kind of meaningful recruitment strategy for educators so that the state class size law limits can be met. So we have to look at those, focus on those two things, collaborate on those two things to make sure that the state class size law is implemented properly. We have to focus on that capital plan. We have to continue to focus on working to get school construction into our schools that need construction. And we also have to push the DOE to create a reasonable recruitment strategy for educators. And on our end, what we've done with the UFT in terms of recruitment is, we were pushing for Tier 6 pension reforms to take place to attract more individuals into the profession. And through our advocacy and through the help of parents, we have been able to succeed to a degree through this last state budget, where retirement for a full pension has been reduced from 63 to the age of 58. But we still have more work to do. We want to get that age down to 55. The reason for that is in our profession, educators enter the profession at a very young age, usually at age 21, and they're not going to be attracted to a profession where they can only get a full pension if they can only retire in 42 years with a full pension. It's quite daunting for anyone to come into any profession thinking, well, I got to be in the profession for 42 years before I'm able to achieve a full pension. So we still have work to do with that, although we got a significant improvement to it. And the next goal is our paraprofessionals are so key to our schools and our students. They're they're the direct person that's really working with many of our children. And we have to make sure that we have paraprofessionals working with our children. We always have in the city a constant problem of a paraprofessional shortage. So the UFT has been working on trying to get a $10,000 increase in salary to the paraprofessionals. We're really pushing for it now. State budget is out. City budget should be set. And, we shouldn't be hearing any problems in terms of doing that anymore. And we thanks for everyone's support with regard to that issue. And so with all of that, I wish all of you an amazing summer. Everybody has worked extremely hard this particular school year. Everybody deserves a bit of time off. And I wish all of you a wonderful summer, and I look forward to working with all of you on the collaborations again that I mentioned before, and even new collaborations that we can work on to continue making our district the greatest district in the whole city of New York. So have a great night, everyone, and a great summer.
Didn't I tell you? I told you he was going to come through. Thank you, Bruce. Always coming through. Next parent, we have Sylvia Kothia. Sylvia Kothia.
Oh, okay. Hello. Good evening, Quentin. How are you? Thank you so much. Good evening, parents, and good evening, CEC 28. My name is Sylvia Kothia. I was invited by Quentin Mezzantine. I'm hoping I couldn't pronounce your last name correctly. Did I?
No, Mezzantine, but it's cool.
Mezzantine. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying the warm, humid weather. My name is Sylvia Kothia, so I'm very happy to join you. I am the president and founder of Positive Women United. It is an award-winning 501c3 nonprofit organization for young girls and women of all ages, races, cultures, and ethnicities since the launch of officially 2013. We're a community-led organization here in Southeastern Queens under District 31 Councilwoman Sylvina Brooks Powers and Assemblywoman Alicia Hyman and State Senator Senator Leroy Comrie. So Quentin and I have been engaging and been in contact. I did send him my information, my one-page summary and presentation of introducing female empowership leadership skills for young girls from pre-K to high school. Although I'm not a parent of a public school student, but I do have a niece of mine who attends PS 156 in Laurelton. I'm a Laurelton mom here, parent of two. I've been in Laurelton, Queens here for the past 20 years, and I'm also on a community board 13, which my presentation was presented last month in regarding to offering leadership skills, empowerment leadership skills to the New York City public school system. I'm also a newly licensed registered DOE vendor. So I'm looking forward to speaking and engaging with anyone here as a parent and CEC28 and discussing as far as upcoming events and workshops, seminars, and trainings that I do have through my organization. And I did address to Quentin as far as we got two wonderful summer-led events, women's sports events with a Positive Women United. One of them is a upcoming City Field, which I do have comp tickets to attend, to offer and provide to parents and young girls to attend on July 15th with Gotham Football, which we had a great partnership women-led and female youth-led partnership during Women's History Month in March. So we were invited and we were able to attend their stadium, Sports Illustrated Stadium in Jersey. So that was a great partnership and collaboration. And we're still in active discussion and partnership and collaboration with Gotham Football throughout the 2026 year and so on. So we're excited about that. And we're all going to be creating a flyer, Quentin. So we could provide that to you. It is a summer-led women's sports and female youth event on July 15th. So it's not during school session, but we wanted to invite and engage the kids as far as fitness and health related, leadership, as far as, not only addressing the lack of fitness, but just to have more exposure to women's sports. And Positive Women United, we're very honored to have these active and ongoing collaborations. And we also have an exciting opportunity as well, another women-led sport event with New York Liberty, WNBA New York Liberty, their 2024 basketball championship, female empowered championship. So that would be on August 27th. That is a fundraising event. So we're looking forward to parents and everyone is invited. Mother, father, daughter, mother, daughter, grandparents on August 27th. It's going to be a great night of Nonprofit Advocacy Day. I'll be highlighting Positive Women United. So we're definitely inviting the community and beyond. It is a citywide initiative, but since, we are here in Southeastern Queens and we're here in Queens, so of course, priority is always going to give to, the parents and the kids here in the surrounding district areas and the constituents. So we, of course, we all want to take a break, and my board team and I, we're doing that. We're doing a lot of great work, but we are still continuing pushing forward with summer youth more summer youth related events. So I'll be happy to share any links on here, the website, and you can follow us. We're on Facebook, and we're on IG, Instagram as well. And for the youth, we're on TikTok. So we continue to be engaged and just stay informed, and we'll look forward to providing actually on new female youth leadership skills that we want to provide through DOE for the fall 2026 and school season. So thank you, Quentin. You work very hard. We're very honored. Thank you for inviting me here, and continue to do the great work, and all the parents, much success, and the students for the new fall 2026 year. Did I say enough, Quentin, or is there more to say? Oh, we're good.
All right, thank you. All right.
No.
Yes, send your flyers. We'll definitely share it in our resources page on our website, and I'm going to keep plugging in there. So we provide a lot of resources in our website. Please go to our website to see all the things happening in our community. Next
Awesome.
parent I would like
Hey,
to
Lance,
call
anything here from
is Dina Katz.
Yes, hi. My name's Stuart Kagan. I'm Dina Katz's husband. She got called away because she has to put our son to bed. And so, if it's all right, with everyone's permission, I'll go ahead and say what we have. And I'll try to be brief because I very much appreciate everyone's time and I'm very, very grateful for it. So, the issue that we are very concerned with is the use of technology for children in schools, particularly the use of one-to-one screens and the interactive use of those screens. And we think it's very, very dangerous and harmful to children. We have currently a son, he is in kindergarten, rising to first grade in PS 101. And that caused us to focus on this issue very strongly. We want to bring it to the educational establishment's attention and try to work really hard to minimize, reduce the use of this kind of technology because we think it's very detrimental to children and to their ability to learn. So on this, we have 3 points to say. The first point is there's been a lot of empirical research over the last several years about the use of technology generally for children. And I believe it's now fairly well known that this generation of children, the most recent generation, is scoring lower on tests of aptitude, general intelligence, and other scores of general learning ability than the prior generation. And this is an unfortunate first. To my knowledge, this has never happened before. Historically, every generation has, thankfully, fortunately, exceeded the generation before it. But this youngest generation is unfortunately the first to be backsliding. There's been a lot of talk about it and a lot of discussion. And I think the general consensus now is that the use of interactive touchscreen technology, specifically the use of technology that allows some kind of interactive, positive response, has really hurt children's ability to learn. The second thing that I wanted to mention and bring to the establishment's attention is that this kind of use of immediate press and response, the giving of some positive reinforcement in this way, seems to be playing havoc and damaging children's ability to hold prolonged attention on tasks where there's not an immediate result and there's not an immediate positive reward. And that, in turn, is very dangerous, I believe very harmful, to the long-term development of critical thinking, the ability to reason through problems that are not obvious and that take time. In past generations, people haven't had the ability to receive immediate gratification and immediate rewards in the way that tech is making it possible. And we believe that that's damaging, not just to our son, but to children in general that are in our educational establishment, and we want them to improve. The third and final thing that I wanted to point out is that the use of this technology is also reducing our children's ability to rely on other methods to communicate and resolve problems, to use other systems of understanding and learning and heuristics to come to good conclusions. I'm sure most of the people on this line don't know, but should know, about the disastrous effects happening right now in the University of California, Berkeley, and other premier schools of education, where they are now finding, I believe for the first time, that incoming students at those elite institutions are unable to do basic math. It's quite unbelievable. But I think that this is part of the same sort of issue that I've been talking about earlier. It is difficult to learn these kinds of skills. They're not self-evident. They're painful. And everyone on this call has had to do those problems and learn in the same way. But at the end, by mastery of those materials, we have all been able to move forward well. So in conclusion, my wife and I urge the educational members of the establishment here, principals, administrators, and the like, to seriously think about and reduce, hopefully, the use of such interactive technology with our children. Our children are the most important thing that we have. They are our future, and I am hopeful that we will all treat that future with the respect that it needs and deserves. And that's all. That's all I have to say.
And that's how you drop the mic. So We appreciate that. I think Principal Mac put in there, your name is Stuart, so happy Father's Day, Stuart.
Thank
And wow, thank you. The the next person I'm gonna bring up is someone who was clapping and putting the emojis up and supporting you in your segment because she's our personal parent in our district, but she's also the on the PEP, which is the panel for education policy, where those conversations like need to be had. Like those are the good meetings to even share that concern directly to them. But I'm gonna let her speak for herself. The phenomenal. Where is she? Where is she? Adriana Alicia.
Hi, everyone. Adriana Alessia, she, her. I represent Queens CECs on the panel for educational policy, and I'm very happy to say I will be doing so for another year, year 3. Woo woo. Uh, I would like to thank everyone for joining this evening, and thank you, former Principal Tuchman, now kicking butt across the district, Tuchman, and to Superintendent Blake. Thank you both, Superintendent Dr. Blake, sorry. Thank you both for that. And I really appreciate the time taken to dive into how New York City Solves can be folded into the existing curriculum. I know there are a lot of questions about like how New York City Reads worked and if Solves is going to work the same way. So I really appreciate that we've got folks in our district who are comfortable talking about it in a way that is digestible to parents. Thank you. Next, I would like to say to Mr. Stewart, uh, I'm not sure that your last name is Kat, so I don't want to say whether it is or not, but thank you for all of your points. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Thank you, Quentin. You're right. Please do come to the PEP if you have the time. Please feel free to bring your wife and your child. There are many students who join us. Our next PEP meeting is going to be on the 17th at 883 Classen Avenue. It's in Brooklyn. We get started at around 6 p.m. And this month, there are not a lot of contract items and there are only a couple of school utilization proposals. So we do plan to have quite a number of people attending to discuss AI, to discuss the potential AI moratorium that is being, there's, I think, like 2,500 signatures on that now, and to discuss other things that have come up recently, like student safety, et cetera. Most people come to the PEP, as Quentin was saying, to have those conversations. I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Feel free to email me and we can chat that way as well. I hope everyone has a great summer and I will see you all in July. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. All right. That was our last parent. Those are man, you guys showed up today, parents. So before we go to our council members, I want to give this opportunity for our elected officials to bring greetings. I believe we had elected official for Leo Comrie's office. Nine more. Do we have Lou? Okay. They Leo Comrie and Lou, they Senator Lou, Senator Leo Comrie, they represent us very well. They had some representation, but they had to leave, probably doing other business work with the other councils and community boards that they're always working and advocating for. So thank you for all you do, just in case you see this recording. And we had 2 principals still here. Principal Zachary Mack, thank you for the heads up, but if you want to bring greetings, there you are.
There we are. Can you guys see me all right?
Yes.
Thanks so much for having me tonight and for all the great points that were shared. I really appreciate what Stuart and Dina were sharing regarding technology. I know it puts us in a little bit of a tricky position. We're doing this dual job of preparing our students for a world infused with technology, but also making sure that we're protecting them from it, right? So walking that line, I think is really, really important. I also just wanted to thank the broader PS 101 community. We had a couple amazing events recently. We had our 5th grade play this year, Matilda, which was wonderful, and the international dinner as well, which featured a lion dance for the first time and a whole bunch of other events that showcased just some of the amazing diversity in our school community. So thanks so much to Deputy Superintendent Tushman for showing up for that event. I know that makes for a really long day, but we sure appreciate you, and it was so good to have you there with all the family. So Quentin, thanks as always for the time and for everything you do. Thanks to all the members of the PAP. Hi, Paquita, and we'll be in touch. Take care.
We appreciate you too. You're most welcome. Now, I'd like to turn to our reporting secretary so we can go through our council reports.
Hi, thank you, Quentin. We're going to take our. You read it.
We have more principals? Oh, I did not. Principals.
Oh, you see,
I think.
principals. In the beginning, I did mention put P in front of your name so I can see you. So if there's any principals still here, I do want to acknowledge you. Please just raise your hand. Grego, I'm calling you out. Buddy old pal with the cool logo. There you are.
I was trying to be sneaky. You got me. Yeah, so good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say hello. Thank you for I love coming to these. I love getting all the information. It helps, it helps Russell Sage get better and better and better. I bring a lot of, like a lot of the feedback that happens here, and like suggestions that happen here. I bring those back to Russell Sage, and it just like I keep it in my head like while we work on programming for next year and things like that. And tomorrow's our graduation for our 8th graders, so I wanted to say congratulations to all our 8th grade graduation students. But although it is a ceremonial graduation, they still have to come back and do their Algebra 1 regents and their biology regents and their US history regents. So they will be back for that. They're still going to get their yearbooks and all that good stuff and all the fun end of the year activities. So I wanted to throw out a congratulations, but don't forget the school year is not over yet just because we're having a ceremony tomorrow. And that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Principal Grego. Appreciate all the principals and those of you guys who are able to make it here tonight. Next, I would like to go back and bring up our Queensboro president who loves us. We're his favorite district, even though he does all Queens. He says that. I don't know if it's in writing, but he does say that. So we're going to take that as fact. So Queensboro President Donovan Richards, represented here today by his one and only Catherine Zapata.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for that warm introduction, Quentin. Every time I come, I get more and more nervous. It's a lot of expectations here. It's great to see you all. Thank you for being patient with me. We were just on a Queensboro civic engagement meeting with Queens North and Queens South NYPD Patrol with the borough president. So I apologize for the tardiness here. I do want to note that we want to start by extending our congratulations to all the great scholars that are graduating in District 28. We're so excited to hopefully join some of your graduations in the coming weeks. I know we'll be spread thin across all the 7 districts, but we'll definitely make appearance in some of your graduations. Jointly, some events that we have coming up, but one is our annual Pride event, which is on June 26th, I believe. You should all be receiving a flyer from me. It'll be at Queensboro Hall. Our next one, actually the day before that, is June 25th, is our Southeast Queens Town Hall, which we would love for all of you to join us. We will have every agency there. And you don't only have to be from Southeast Queens or have a student in Southeast Queens. This is just where we are revamping our town hall cycle. As you know, we are on 12 months of the year. So if you need me, please feel free to reach out. I do want to highlight that we have some great news on high schools level. So the first one, as I'm sure that you all may have heard, is that the Aviation High School test cell facility is now fully funded. Maybe some of your scholars will be going to Aviation High School next year, or that would be a future endeavor. But we're so excited to the Mamdani administration and Chancellor Samuels, and of course the borough president, who all have jointly invested in this effort. As well as next week, we'll be celebrating the groundbreaking of phase 1 to Newtown High School track and field right behind Queen Center Mall, which is a large endeavor that the borough president worked on with council member Shaker Krishna. We're hoping to have many more groundbreakings as the new school year comes about. With the school construction authority. And before I get off, you all might see my signature change. So I am not the education director for the borough president. I'm now handling intergovernmental affairs, which encompasses education. So still overseeing his education portfolio, but now working among our interagencies. So in case there's anything that we can be helpful with either the Department of Transportation, Department of Environmental Protection, NYPD, et cetera, please feel free to email me as always, and I will put my email and direct number here. Thank you all.
Thank you for letting us know about that phenomenal promotion, which is well deserved. Thank you. We will learn that title, and all you advocate for us. And one thing that I want to mention that she did not mention, which is that she just celebrated her birthday. So happy birthday, Zapata. I know you don't tell nobody, but I just want to shout you out and let everybody else say, give you that acknowledgement. We appreciate you and all you do. Thank you for always advocating for us and showing up for us everywhere on behalf of the borough president, but you do it because you love us too. So thank you. Now I'll go back to our recording secretary.
That you know.
I know, I agree.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're gonna have our council member reports. We're gonna start with our first Vice President, Lauren Clavin.
Good evening, everyone. I'm loving the energy tonight from our audience. I want to say thank you to all the parents who spoke tonight. Ditto to everything everyone said. Yes to more civic engagement. Thank you for coming here. Please keep showing up. Check out the PEP. That's the Panel for Education Policy. We have so many acronyms in the DOE. But that is the place to be to voice concerns that affect the entirety of New York City, right? And we happen to have a phenomenal Queens parent repping us there right now. Thank you, Adriana. I also want to echo everything that was said tonight regarding class size. The mayor released his plan for class size reduction today. And this is, if you know me, if you've heard me talk before, I'm going to bring it up again. This is why I'm no fan of mayoral control of our schools, no matter who happens to be in that position, because we are in a situation now where through budget negotiations, we have a 2-year extension on mayoral control. There's very little checks and balances on what the mayor chooses to do. It's very top-down control. And it means that us who have the closest connection to what's going on in our school communities, the parents, the educators, the administrators, all of these people who hold all this wisdom going back generations, like Miss Sparks, who is here, who have seen schools not being built over and over again, yet more housing comes in, right? And so we have recommendations that came from the class size working group who talked about a school siting task force, who talked about bringing back groups that existed back in the 60s to make sure that as new housing is being built, where children will live, that schools are also being built, and there are ways to do that. So I noted in reading that plan, this is not my work. This is someone who has more time on their hands than me. The word exemption came up 35 times in the mayor's class size reduction plan, which is really disappointing. We can't be just relying on schools getting exemptions to meet the class size law requirements in order to skirt around this whole process, and our babies will be sitting in overcrowded classrooms, right? So I say all that to say we keep pushing, keep coming to our meetings. We love and appreciate you. Keep going to the PEP, keep speaking out, because it's wonderful that that law was passed. Parents and stakeholders were advocating for years and years for class size reduction, but now we have to hold people accountable, just like Bruce was saying, right? So that's what I have to say on that. And I can criticize our leadership while also giving appreciation. I just want to share this resource that comes from the city. It's just this really cool tool. I was looking at it. I think it's just called Summer in the City. Go to it. It's a whole database of low cost and free ways to keep our kids entertained this summer. If you're panicking a little like I am about gaps in camps or no camps, it's really cool. Go check it out. It shows you on a map where different activities are. You can plug in your kid's age and interest, and it gives you all this free stuff that's going on throughout the summer at libraries and parks and all different kinds of stuff. Lastly, I want to say congratulations to our graduates. Congratulations to the parents who got them there every day, who checked their homework, who made sure they were dressed appropriately, even when my son argued with me this morning about wearing a sweatshirt. And I was like, man, it's 90 degrees out. Okay. But I want to particularly say to our parents of fifth graders and to our graduating kindergartners. I mentioned these two groups in particular because, like my graduating fifth grader who entered kindergarten in fall of 2020, that was a terrifying time. There was a lot said about our graduating fifth graders, about what's going to happen to these kids. They miss so much, learning loss. It was terrifying for all of us. We lived through it. We don't need to go over it. But I want to acknowledge that we made it, guys. We made it. My baby is graduating fifth grade. And our kindergartners who are graduating, man, my love and my hugs and everything to all those moms who were pregnant and maybe labored alone in a hospital in 2020 in a terrifying time. I just am we did it. We did it. We might have thought we weren't going to get here, but here we are. And I just want to, I just felt called to make a special acknowledgement to all our graduates, but in particular, those two cohorts, our COVID babies, right? And happy Father's Day to all our fathers, to Quentin and Lou and Eric. Am I missing anyone? Just if I'm missing anyone, I'm so sorry. That's all I got. Happy June, everyone. We made it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Lauren. And now we're going to have our member report from our second Vice President, Jennifer Silvers.
Well, hi, everyone. Good evening. I do really enjoy, like people were saying, the comments that were made tonight. They're very profound, and hope that we will be able to build on them and address them appropriately. One thing before I get to what I was going to present, it's just something that I'm very proud of the results of our district. We always want to do better, right? So I was just a little concerned about, the wording that was used earlier, about we do not want to overpromise in terms of percentages. That's why we do a 3% to 5%. It just struck me, um, to me, when that kind of language is used, is for some small feat, maybe losing weight or something like that, not education and our children. I don't think it is overpromising. I think we overpromise to the hilt, and we try to build and reach the very top. And if we make the bar really high, hey, we might get very high. We keep the bar low, the bar is most likely going to stay low. This is really troubling, that language. So here's my report. With the school updates for the month, the schools are we're going over their goals. 121 went over their priorities for CEP. Sadly, Mrs. Lucadamo is retiring at PS 144. With what Lauren was saying, kind of struck me too when I was putting this together, because my children, my older girl entered the school during COVID, and that's when Mrs. Lucadama was the interim principal. And her leadership during that very, very difficult time was phenomenal. And she's been phenomenal for the school. She was with the school long before she was principal. And she'll be sorely missed. And I'm very happy about our interim principal. And I urge all of the parents there at 144 to to advocate for the type of principal that you would like. It really works. It worked at 144. It worked at Halsey. It worked at other places where families will stand up and be strong for what is good for their school. For PS 55, I thought it was amazing. One of their focus of their CEP goals was a focus on collaboration between the families, teachers, PTA, and SLT. I think that's a wonderful goal that I don't see often, but that collaboration and making sure that these groups work together is great. I'm looking forward to hearing how that works out next year. And then today, PS 50, they were going over their CEP goals, and that struck me too, that they were doing real-time collaboration in the iPlan portal with parents and with the administrators there, which is, I think, how it probably should be. There were successful PTA, SLT, and Title I elections that occurred, which is not a given all the time. Thank you to all the parents who step up to volunteer at schools and support your children and your schools. So there were successful elections had. Graduation season, I'm looking forward to attending the graduation of 50 and 55. And I was asked to give some remarks, and I look forward to doing that and meeting the parents and congratulating the children. And as Bruce was talking about the new educator celebration, it was phenomenal. I loved it. I loved the support of supporting teachers who make it to these milestones. And Bruce is an amazing leader of the room. So as always, so that was really great to attend that. The legislative breakfast was also phenomenal, and there were dynamic speakers. I just was floored when Deputy Chancellor Puello Perdomo was speaking, and others. And I think that more, maybe not on this scale because it's a lot of work, but something like this where stakeholders can be in the same room to network and to talk would be really, really helpful. More than maybe just once every 2 years, something, maybe to a smaller scale. And the um, Office of Ty Hankerson is putting together some working groups in response to some of the community events, including the tragedies in Jamaica. And it's supposed to be a space where stakeholders and community leaders will be able to discuss these sorts of events and issues. And they're putting together these working groups. And I'm looking forward to joining the working groups to, try to make an impact there. Just wanted to share for maybe middle school, it'll affect all students, but middle school students now may be interested to know, if they don't know, that the Shazat test, which is taken in order to get into the specialized public schools, it's transitioning to digital and the computer adaptive format. And I don't know, I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous because there's already disparities and problems with the test when it was written. Now we're introducing, computer, and we're introducing time constraints and typing, making it even more challenging. So I'm hoping that schools and other resources can be available to students to help them prepare for this really big transition. Summer reading, so I'm going to pass this on to our administrative assistant, our wonderful, lovely administrative assistant, who will help put this on the website. So I'm not going to read everything, but something that Ms. Long brought up about the reading, I completely and utterly agree with. I am always floored by the fact that I don't see my children reading Shakespeare, my older one, Shakespeare enough, and other books that, that other books that, we can all unite around. Like what I was telling my daughter, what is Jeopardy gonna look like, in like 10, 15 years? Like, because are they gonna know these like great books that we've all like at least heard of? I don't know. But there's some summer reading resources, and I also saw that Sonia Rueda put some resources as well for the summer, which is great. And then there are some book giveaways that will be wonderful. So please check out our website. This will be there. And we can continue to try to expose our children to summer reading, which will help for the fall. There's some summer activities I have listed there. Movies, free concerts. I like free things. And some wonderful community events coming up, community walks, pantries, and such. And then just also want to say, so the electricity in the New York around, the Knicks is amazing. I feel like there's community and building around, sadly, tragedies, but also around fun and exciting events. And this is one of them. And so I fully support the people who are, Knicks fans for now. I fully support it. I love it. I love it. Everybody is, no, I don't care. I love it. We're all gonna be Knicks fans now. I just want to say, when I was growing up, I was a Lakers fan, the Showtime Lakers with Magic, Those are my group, but I always, always, always love my man Patrick Ewan. This is a poster that I've had since I was a little girl. It's still there. So this win, we're gonna win, is for Patrick and it's for New York. And happy Father's Day, happy summer, and thanks so much for a successful year.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right, and now I'm gonna give my member report. So I have been reflecting on this 11 months of being on the CEC. And I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of great parent advocates. I've learned a lot from them. I've visited schools and spoke with parents and helped parents through particular situations. And even when I had a particular situation, I was able to reach out to the great people in the district and my fellow council members who gave me great support. So I thank you for that. I also just want to highlight some of the issues that have been persistent throughout these 11 months that I've heard from parents. So one thing parents have always asked for, and from the beginning of my time here at in the CEC, they've always asked for transparency. And a lot of times where we have great presentations with great fancy graphs, great colors, and high numbers, parents have asked for the actual data. So my hope going forward is that when we do make these presentations, when the district does come with these presentations, it's not just with very decorative and colorful graphs, but there will be links to the actual data that parents can refer to. Another issue that has been persistent throughout, and I get a lot of emails about this from parents, is that them having trouble in terms of the relationship that they have with the principal or the school administration. And I would like to see more training of our school leaders on building positive relationships with parents. A lot of parents tend to feel like they're not being heard. They feel like they've been talked down to, and just not getting the assistance that they need. So I would like going forward, if there is training already in place for school leaders, that there'll be more training on building positive relationships with parents. And the third thing that has persisted throughout these 11 months is the concerns around technology use in schools. So there have been concerns about privacy. There have been concerns about safety, which I received emails about just this very week, and the use of technology reducing the skills that our children have. And I would love to see in the coming my next year in the CEC is some action taken, or some regard, some language, something said to the parents about this, some acknowledgement of the research that is there, of the research that I believe Stuart was his name, that he presented, that he spoke about, some acknowledgement from our district, from the New York City Public School, the whole system, some acknowledgement of the challenges that we're having with the technology presently used in schools. So those are some of the things that I look forward to seeing in the next year. Now, last month, I wished all the mothers Happy Mother's Day, and I read a very nice poem for the mothers, and I must do the same for the fathers. So my father, shout out to my dad, who was a New York City public school teacher. He's now retired. and he was a great support, and he inspired my passion for education. So this is to my dad and to all the fathers. A father's hands. A father's hands, worn and strong, building a world where I belong. Each line a story, each scar a lesson, crafting a life with every session. You built my dreams with every nail. Your steady hands, they never fail. Through storms and sun, through joy and pain, you stood unwavering, a constant main. Your hands, the first to hold me tight, guiding me through the darkest night. In your grasp, I learn and grow. In the warmth of love, a constant glow. Here's to the hands that have held my own. Here's to the love that has always shown. Father, my gratitude knows no bounds. In your love, my life is found. Happy Father's Day. All right, thank you so much. And we're going to have our next member report from our treasurer, Alicia Bauk.
Thank you for the poem, Chantal. So sweet, both are sweet. Before I start my report, I wanted to give support to my colleague, Jennifer Sobers, and her note about the 3% goal that our district sets for educational goals. I have to say that as a Title I district chair in the past, I attended DLT meetings where those goals were set. That 3% goal has had long-standing criticism from the parents. It appears to be too small and insignificant and has not changed in many, many years. Nobody understands why it is 3%, where that number comes from. And I remember in 2022, when I was part of DLT and had to sign the district educational goals as a Title I chair for the district, the goals were finally that year, this pandemic, it was a virtual world, was finally set somewhere in April. By the time we all got around to sign the document, it was May, and only June was left to achieve those goals. That was a horrendous year. I hope that has changed. I have not attended DLT meetings. Now I'm taking mental notes to do so. But I do support Jennifer's concerns about how they said, why they said, and why it is 3%. So I would appreciate if our, DLT team would give it a second thought. Thank you. And I will share my screen now. If I can only find. Oh, here we go. Alrighty. I wanted to start with follow up on my promise of 2 months now to discuss training for parent leaders, empowering parent leaders, and stakeholder collaboration initiative with Deputy Chancellor Flavia. We met on May 20th. To my appreciation and gratitude, she came in person with 4 team members. I have met with the deputy chancellors, and they would delegate their meetings with public to someone else. This time it was not the case. The meeting took much longer. I felt I was giving plenty time and thorough consideration of all of our suggestions. This is what we discussed. Our suggestion for centralized orientation, mandatory training, resource accessibility, and parent leader accounts was giving kind of a bucket called modernization. Flavia felt that this has to bring us to the next level, and she promised to work on that. She also made suggestions. She felt that we don't have to wait for her to implement a lot of things. Capacity building for parent coordinators, that's also something that not necessarily CEC can do, but the district can do, the principals can do. This initiative also comes from the mayor and from the chancellor. And the recent quote here from the chancellor that we need to invest more in our parent coordinators in their training. We again talking about training that it seemed to be lacking in so many levels. They implementing targeted training of parent coordinators, workshops and resources to strengthen parent involvement in school partnership, excuse me. Other suggestions that parent leaders help their schools to showcase achievements and culture of the schools. She suggested that principals of the schools replace coffee with the principal with breakfast with the principal when it is an informal sit-down event versus a quick put together 15-minute meeting with the principal. And the breakfast should take significant time, an hour or two, where all the issues are discussed and where maybe principals take a back seat and the parents talk during those events. Our spotlight was on Tamika's, she's present here, our FACE representative, who wants Flavia to know that she put together an A660 training for parents. And Principal Lau also delegated for me to speak on simplifying parent leaders' election process. He noticed that in a lot of time when principals and PTA talk to parents to join PTAs, SLTs, Title Ones, they say, sure, we'll do. But once they come to election, the process is so intimidating that they just hesitant to raise their hand and they do not run. And they say, I'm sorry, but it seemed like too much. So she also suggested that that can be addressed at the school level, that schools should feel free to customize the election process to how they feel would fit their culture, their school, their parents. But also there are some things we probably don't have control over as a description of the roles. We take them from chancellor's regulations. Nobody probably feel comfortable to really simplify them. So this is to me kind of a toss-up. I hope they can help with just giving maybe some guidance to schools as well. So that was a little bit of maybe something we disagreed on. We will be meeting again. We will follow up. I will follow up with the Deputy Chancellor's team in September to see what has been implemented, where we can continue to push for improvement. And MS 217 updates. At the last SLT meeting, we discussed ongoing flooding and drainage systems in that T building that we've been advocating for replacement. Just the day before SLT meeting, the roof rotted and kind of collapsed in that building. Aging plumbing and building infrastructure continues to be a huge concern at MS 217. Safety concerns are associated with buildings location adjacent to public park space. Reports of litters, alcohol containers, and other inappropriate materials found in surrounding outdoors areas. Challenges for students traveling between the building during inclement weather. Accessibility concerns students with disability and mobility challenges travel between the buildings. We've talked about this huge problem with the T building at MS 217, and painting it and outside did not solve any of these problems. And on May 18th, this was a huge day at the school for so many reasons, but I will start with the plumbing problems. And on the first picture, the person with the clipboard is Bruce. He was here, I was here, director of facilities, Carmine Francis was there as well. in the forefront of this picture is a drainage, this square kind of things, is accessibility to the plumbing system. On the second picture, you see the same little squares going through cafeteria. And then on the picture 3, you see 3 doors in the back of the picture. So the right door is a bathroom. Once a week, just think about it, once a week, this ground floor that contains also cafeteria floods from the backed up sewage. And on the picture 4, this is an access point where Carmine was going on when the schools were closed on June 4th and 5th. This was used, all of these holes were used to record videos, to put cameras in and record videos, trying to find out where the pipe is broken. Because when the pipe is broken, the tissues, the water, the feces, all of that comes through, of course, it's a crack. So they were trying to see where that is. And if they find where it is, they would excavate the floors and replace the piping. The good thing, it's a solid plan to do. The only thing they cannot do it when school is in session. They will have to wait perhaps till summer. And this is main building. This is not T building. This is main building of the school. Same day, May 18th. This is Principal Tuchman saying goodbye to her school. And on the middle picture, you recognize Bruce because we're there trying to see the plumbing. What a timing. 2 big reasons to be there in person. It was overwhelming, I think, was for Principal Tuchman for sure. It was overwhelming for me just to witness how much love she received. And on the third picture, this is yesterday at PS 117. Here, Ms. Tuchman already in her role of a Deputy Chancellor with the principal of PS 117. Deputy Chancellor. Oh, that's coming up. Deputy Superintendent, I'm so sorry. Alrighty, this is the Emerson School. CP goals for the school year were not met. It is simply because they set very ambitious goals. However, the number of students on grade level increased by 6%. They're showing improvement. Main barrier to achieve the CP goals is that incoming students to the school are behind 1 or multiple grade levels. And chronic absenteeism did not improve, unfortunately, this year. Cafeteria in Halsey, I've talked about it at the last meeting. There are some improvements. The first 2 pictures, the additional rooms that now are part of cafeteria has not been fully remodeled. However, this will be finished during summer months, but they do have now a new serving line. It is amazing, and they're hot and cold food and more options. And I've seen it at MS 217, and now it is a pleasure to see it at Halsey as well. And the students love it. And I will try to get through it very quickly. Halsey is a very busy school. They have enormous amount of programs. New CAP goals will be set in September. Device usage is discussed as a designated area in the cafeteria because now they have larger cafeteria. They're thinking to have kind of like internet cafe, if you wish, where children will be allowed to use their devices during their break, because some children rely on their devices for comfort and alone time, and sometimes in communication with their other peers as they're allowed to play some of the games. However, the school wants to still implement some criteria for who and how uses those devices. They still struggle to define that, but continue to work on it. Capital projects, cafeteria, air conditioning will be installed in auditorium. soon. The windows have been measured. This in the past 2 weeks only, the school had improv battle, soccer borough city championship. We're wishing them to become the city championship. Dance concert with students and teachers, 8th grade prom, art exhibit, auction. Principal for the day will be auctioned as many other prizes. The school is going to Mets games. They have school supplies already available for purchase online and shipped home. Pride Celebration Month, they believe that pride is about being a supportive person and supportive friend. And 6th grade open house and summer walkthroughs and town halls are all happening right now. And that is all I have. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have our next member report from Lou Zhao.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. So yesterday, one of my liaison school, 303 had a SLT. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend in the morning. I for every Wednesday I have to be in office early, so I couldn't attend. But the one of the members sent me an email, talk about what brought up yesterday. The issue is that they were hoping to they applied to adding 2 positions, but not only they didn't get any more teaching, staff, they are projected to reduce positions. Actually, they're going to reduce 3 positions next year if it's all by plan, and they will reverse some of the reduced class size back to 32. So that was pretty obviously upsetting situation. So they were so I got this email today, so I don't know what the channel they can work on to reverse or like using the pen, right? So this is an issue probably I will later ask folks in the district maybe give us a highlight like what kind of thing could happen. And also in the email she complained that the 303 has much lower budget than other schools in the neighboring area. So I want to do a quick look at it. So you see the okay. So basically in 303, I did a quick checkup. So in 303, they have let me see if I can share this so everybody can see a little bit of. Okay, so this is the 303's budget. So by the way, this is public information. I think people who are really get into this, education issues, parent leaders should familiar with the website to check the financial information of each school. So they give you a lot of idea of what's going on there, right? So when we talk, it's very, easy to get, distracted by the big numbers. So you can go to the details. So this is actually kind of a high level, but it's good enough for so for 303, they have a $14,000 per student, which is much lower than the average of the city, which is 23, close to 24, right, per student. This is the per school allocation, not including the central spending, right? So she was compared to neighboring school. I didn't know which school he was looking at, but I have a take a guess. It's probably 175. So I took a look at the one of the actually it's home run. So this is exactly the number she was referring to. So there was like around $5,000 difference per student between those two schools. Now, what's the reason, right? So you look at the demographic, the 175 have 61% of economic need student, 18% of English learner, 17% of a disability, right? We go back to 144. That number is much lower, right? 25 you have need, 2% of English learner, 13% of disability. So that's where the money come from, right? So every student have certain amount of money, then additional money, by a formula, additional money added in when they meet one of the conditions. There's a lot of if you look at the fair student funding formula, there's a lot of items. If you meet certain criteria, you got some additional money. So this is a problem for a lot of school. So if you the funding formula, it does not directly connect to the need of the school. So if you look at the spending budget, 99% of the money going to salary, payrolls, right? Salaries, benefits, everything. So those are pretty much set, right? So you have is this staff needed for the school to run? That's the money allocated, and there's very little, space for the principal to work on, and only 1% left for this case. Only $60,000 left for the principal to spending on other things like printing, stuff like that. So there's really not a whole lot of thing a principal can do in this case. In my opinion, I think probably, there's a real person, former principal now, like district leaders here, so they can maybe talk a little bit better on that. But in general, this is the thing. So, you if you don't have enough, I talk about another school, I live in, they had a similar problem is they have, incoming kindergarten in 2 years in a row. They do not have any student identified as IEP, right? So that's, as I said before, this is statistically impossible. So basically, this because of the screening, it doesn't, cover a lot of students. If the parent don't know or don't want to check their student, they won't be identified. It doesn't mean they are not. But another consequence is because they're not, they don't bring the money. So they have a much lower funding going their way. So when they had, if you have a lot of, immigrants family, when there's the refugee crisis, a lot of kids allocated to the school, they actually have a lot of, funding to, use. That was a good year for them. But once that situation, changed, they will have a very so for 75, the situation was if they didn't get the forgiven by the district, if they do the mid-year adjustment, they're gonna have a crisis. They don't have enough money to cover the basis. So those kind of thing happens. I think fundamentally, I think this is a very bad way to fund the school. You should identify what the school needed, how many students based on the needs. Then based on the salary, allocated the funding instead of based on student, which would create this big discrepancy between schools. So I want to give a little bit of time to our district leaders. If in this situation, what should we come back to the parents and the school? Like what can they do? Well, immediately the problem is they are projecting to remove 3 teachers, and reverse the class size, everything. So forget about the 2 new teachers they really wanted. Just this situation can they reverse.
Yes. Yeah, that doesn't come from the district office, so I do mention that there are students from the formula. I don't know if everyone can hear me. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, so sorry, I'm talking to you in the room, but I forget there's people there on the screen. So the city sets the budget for all schools. And that comes from, as you said, the fair student funding formula based on the number of students and a per student dollar amount. And then if students fall into certain subgroups, there are additional funds that are put on each child's weight. So if you have an IEP and what that IEP is for, and if you're an E&L student and things like that, all contribute X number of dollars more towards each student, right? And that is set from the city, and the cities deliver the budgets down to the schools. When you talk about losing teachers, it's really because based on the number of students, you are allotted X number of teachers. It's not just you can hire as many people as you want. So every year in June, principals have a budget meeting with the budget office and the district office to review their numbers, to review their anticipated numbers and their history of student enrollment to determine what they're allocated and allowed to have. And so if principals choose to go over that allowance, they are then taking from other things. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have additional staff members, right? But the resources, that extra pot of money that will be left after your X number of allotted teachers then goes to these other additional things like you're talking about. And so sometimes schools choose with their SLT to have certain programs in place that may be at the cost of having an additional staff member, right? Like an intervention teacher, a coach, things like that. And so it's not necessarily that they're going to lose a teacher because the budget isn't giving them the teacher. It's because their student numbers don't mandate that number of teachers. And so principals have to make really hard decisions around accessing people or replacing people when they leave, retire, etc., or choosing other things. And we shouldn't be in that position to have to choose one thing over the other. But that's where that situation comes from. And so other things go without because different choices are made. And it may be staffing one year and it may be paper and resources another year. It just all depends on the decisions that are made.
So just follow up because this is very specific for 303. So for 303, their enrollment over the year actually increasing. So I'm not increasing, yeah. So I don't know if that's because I understand for some school because they have a downward, enrollment, so they need to do, like different projection for next year. But for 303, I think the situation is they actually have a increase enrollment because they have the new building. They actually allowed more, space. So this situation more like they reverse the existing school size downsize, like the class size law. So they reverse back to the older size. That kind of shrink the. So is that something planned on the district level or?
Yeah, so schools also get a mid-year adjustment to account for the gain or loss of register after that initial budget meeting in June, right? And so schools will be funded with additional dollars come the mid-year if they have increased enrollment, right? And so, I don't want to take too much time. What I would definitely, Quentin's like, okay. What I could definitely do is provide an opportunity to kind of do a budget workshop and overview. I have a lot of working knowledge of it, but I would also like to, maybe ask some of our partners to support that so that you all have a better understanding of budgets and how they work and why some schools are in situations. So I will definitely offer that opportunity and collaborate with Quentin to make that happen.
Right, we can follow up on that, yeah.
Something we actually have to fall. And Lou, just complete to add to that, we are looking at that school to add additional space.
Mm.
So we're looking at that possibly the parking lot.
Okay.
To put some there.
Additional, okay. Okay, I think that's the most important thing, here. So, that's all the time I want to take it right now. I think we're gonna follow up and see more things we need to do. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Lou. Thank you, Lou, and thank you, our district team, for your responses. I'm gonna have our next member, Annie Cope, to give her report.
Hello all. Annie Coquera, I have only 1 minute. Seriously, let me see. I am going to highlight my visit to Queens Collegiate in mid-May. It's my 5th school. I think I'll probably have to give up the school to someone else, hopefully to the new person who might join us. But I don't want to give it up because it's great. I loved it, my visit here. We'll highlight a couple of things. Queens Collegiate is a 6 to 12 grade school. So that's 7 years of growth in the building. It's a unified school that eliminates the divide between middle school and high school. So parents coming in with incoming 6th grader, they graduate high school. So that's fantastic for a lot of parents who kind of don't want to do the headache of having to apply after middle school, because that's like another application process. So if they find a school they really enjoy and they're going to take their kid from 12 years old to 18 and all the way to college, more power to them. And that's really what Principal James Harrell is focused on. He's a great person to talk to. He's a parent himself. He has kids of his own. And we were having a conversation at the time in May. My questions to him were, how do you take care of your students in the building? And for that, I mean, he talks about, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, how do they self-care? How do they take care of their mental health? How do they balance their academic, responsibilities? And so he says that I could see coming into the building that they already have this kind of built in. For example, when I came in around like 11, he sat me down, I waited for him in his office, in the office area. I saw the kids were in the hallway. And there were there were so many kids in this hallway. I wasn't sure which wing was Queens Collegiate, but it kind of flowed. Everything flowed because there's 3 other schools in this location. A Jamaica High School building that closed in 2014 has 3 other schools in there. Jamaica Gateway, to the Sciences, Hillside Arts, Letters Academy, and High School for Community Leadership. They're all in the same building. And so we have a community of kids, different schools with different majors, and they're all, it looked like, I don't compare them to ants in a ant like colony, but that was what it was. It was like zooming, just people moving, learning. And I really was fascinated by that. And the cool thing was everyone has their schedule. The places that are constant are the classrooms and their lunchroom that's designated to their school. Every school has their own lunchroom. And specifically, Queens Collegiate also provides food in the hallways sometimes for students as takeout, hot food takeout from the cafeteria to accommodate the children who are going through the passing. So they are well taken care of. They're fed. These are kids from 12 to 18. They're hungry. They're learning. They got to feed their brains. This is most important. Make sure they get all that they need to focus throughout the day. The second thing outside of the self-care is the mental health component, which is counseling is involved. They have 3 social workers working on in their school, Queens Collegiate, parent engagement events, and lots of community events that brings students together throughout the year. And he invited me to come back to join in September as the year was ending. So he says, and also coming into the building was, the protocol was amazing. I enter along with the kids. The kids who go in and out to recess all have to go through metal detectors. There's a metal detector for their bodies, and then they have x-rays for the book bags, and they go through this process, and they're very orderly. And the security team looked like about 7 to 8 security guards for the building, and everybody goes through that before they enter the building, and they go up to the floors. So this eliminates a lot of things that could potentially happen or not, and this kind of keeps the safety just to make it safe and make people feel like safe in the building, while other things are going on as well. So really quick is that one more thing I like to highlight is they want their kids to strive for college. This is apparent. They have more bulletin boards up for the children than they do for the parents. They want their children to feel like they're in college. There is an honor roll with 4 levels: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. It's like, if you can't get where you get to bronze, that's not, let's strive for more. And I really like the tier system because it's a bulletin board right next to the main office. I'm looking at their bulletin boards, and everywhere I go was like a motivational quote somewhere with an image of someone, of kids who just want guidance, right? Besides of just they're in the classroom, they're guided by their teachers, but at the same time, when they're in the hallway, it's very lovely. They have I guess I don't have the pictures on me right now, but this is one more thing, is that they have 14 plus sports access, including, all kinds of football, flag football, regular football, and also co-ed cricket. So it's very diverse. 14 sports in the building, indoor and outdoor track. Plus they have like a lot of lawn space for outdoor sports. I was welcomed by tons of kids on the lawn just playing ball. And I really enjoyed that. They were not on their phones, and that was very welcoming for me to see that. So that was my experience there. And going forward on June 17th, I'm going to be giving the awards, CEC28 graduation awards at PS 161Q, and I'm looking forward to my first graduation with the 5th grade graduation class of 2026. And that ends my report right here. Thank you for everything, and happy Father's Day. And just a little quick, but I want to give the next person a go. I think it's Eric. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is going to be Miss Paquita Williams.
Oh, Paquita, sorry. Paquita.
Am I unmuted? Yes. Oh, okay. Good night, all. Let me just start off by saying Happy Father's Day, and getting all of that stuff out of the way. Everything. This meeting has been really, really interesting, really good. A lot of good points were made. But I'm not going to reiterate them. A lot of good points were made. But I just want to share that with my 4 schools, that after identifying the needs and the concerns of the school, I haven't been back to visit. I feel like when you tell me you got this going on, that going on, and I mentioned this the last time, that the issues, I thought the issues would be addressed, like in months, and now finding out it takes a long time. So, I didn't go back to the schools yet, but I will be making more visits. I want to say that. I want to say it out loud. And I also want to say thank you for the principals and all who would come on, who has come on and shared what's going on in their school, showcase their things in the school. So I've been showing up at my daughter's school. I have a 14-year-old that's graduating, and she has. I went to an award ceremony last night, and it was really nice. The dinner, the graduating dinner, and the award ceremony. I have a 2-year-old that he's going to have a step up program. So I have to apologize to the schools because I won't be able to come to the various graduations because it's conflict. I have a 2-year-old. He's doing this little step up program. So, of course, I'll be there. Um, I have an 11-year-old who's transitioning from his school to a new school. This is the one that's on the spectrum. He's a little busy and he's still busy. So, I have that. And then I have my 14-year-old that's doing, the various, various awards and dinners and this and that. We had the prom and just very busy. So, there's a school I visit. I want to share about high school musical that my daughter is in, and they had. I went to visit. I think it was what was it? 80 PS80. They had the show there this morning, so I was able to go and see it. Very nice, very good. And this is from '72. They're using '80s auditorium because '72 is being worked on. You know. Wait, I wanted to say something about. I have a school, well, not my school. I'm not the liaison for this school, but they lost their fundings for Title One. Now, I hear a lot with the AI and with the computers, and, I'm a little nervous, but the bottom line is if they're talking about it, it's going to be happening. So with this Title One, the loss of the money, because sometimes, like parents like myself, it's a little nervous about it. I don't understand it really. How is it going to work? My kids, I've been talking all about. I don't want to use the word, but shit, sugarfoot, dumbing down, and that's what I feel. But it's in motion. So we probably with like some Title One funds, we could have an event with the parents and learning more about this so they can help the children or like help the children like kind of like stay on focus and maybe with the computer do the audio literature reading. My kids don't even read the comics. At one time we, read the comic books. They don't even do that. I read in school. I'm like, well, get a book. We can read, the huffing, the puffing, but I got to keep working on that. I got to keep because, what'd you say, Jeopardy? Yeah. What they're going to know? Nada. So, anywho, I heard something mentioned about the bar, and it reminded me of something when I was at a meeting once, and I was told, how like my son, he can't get this, he can't get that, and I remember saying to the woman about like, okay, let's shoot for the moon, and maybe we'll land on the stars. So you set the bar high, like let's set it high. And maybe, we won't get there, but we'll be up there instead of down here, But anyway, long story short, that's what's going on with me. Congratulations to all of the graduates, all of the step uppers. There's who had mentioned something about a fair, a health fair in Far Rockaway. I just want to say my daughter's going to be there. She's part of something in her school that they're going to be part of that. So I'm going to pop out there. And let me see. That's about all that I really, really, really want to say. And I just want to thank the schools for all of the great things that they're doing. I guess as a whole, because I hear, the schools are like, well, our reading is not there, the goals haven't been met, blah, blah, blah. But I guess as a whole, District 28 has been moving upward. And, we can take these schools and find out, okay, you didn't meet your goals, so we're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. Also, I just want to mention Ty Hankerson, because also along with what I'm doing here, I am a advocate for my foster agency. I do the foster, I do a parent adoption and parent workshop monthly. And I needed I needed a city official, I needed the fire department, and I was reaching out, and getting nowhere. And I just want to say thank you to Ty Hankerson, our newly appointed city official. I went into the office, and without blinking, they helped me. So so if they can do that, maybe with some of the schools, some of the issues, maybe we can step to our city officials. So I'm not going to go on and on and on. Let me look at my paper and on. So I don't know how I probably will go into the office and thank him myself. But Miss Starks, she's in that office. Give him a big hug for me. Thank you. Thank you for listening all.
Thank you, Pakita. And we'll have our next member, Eric Gretsch, to give his member report.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm definitely excited for June to come to an end and for all the studying to finish. We've been trying to partner in our local neighborhood with the local libraries, and I encourage everybody to do that, especially from the elementary school level. The libraries have lots of resources in the summertime. I know you know that, but you could really leverage them to help introduce reading lists alongside principals. So I encourage everybody to embark upon those journeys. If you can get your kids to read, please let me know how, because I can't get my kids to read at all, and it is a pain. Two things that came up, I think, or three things that came up during the month from the SLT meetings. Sasha, thanks for raising the demographic breakdown or the feeder breakdown into junior high schools. I think that's something we should be doing, not just at Russell Sage, but I think it'd be a great analysis to do for all the junior high schools to see, what are the constituents schools doing from the elementary school level? How are those kids performing? Why are they performing differently or on par with each other? I know that data could be expanded upon the one from Russell Sage to show of a total, right now the chart you showed says that essentially of those in the honor program, what the breakdown is, but it doesn't tell you of the percentage of kids coming in from each school, what percentage are in the honor program. And I think that's important because it can be misconstrued that the feeder schools are much smaller schools and therefore the representation is smaller. So I think we need to dig a little bit deeper. And I know Russell Sage is doing that work, but I'd encourage, and if there's something we can partner with in terms of the junior high schools about how we could do similar analyses or how we could help do those analyses, I'm willing to raise my hand and pitch in. So I think that's one thing. Port 117 is still fighting to have the auditorium updated. I know you know that. I can't tell you how many auditoriums I go through to around district. I don't even know if it's District 28, but I was at Newtown High School last weekend. Theirs is in disarray. I feel like it's just a general theme that the auditoriums get looked over when everything else has to be done. Is it nice to have? And it's a shame because it is kind of how the community engages with the schools, and it's just a really bad look. Both with the students who see it every day, but when you come as a parent to a school and you sit down in a broken auditorium, your first thought is what's going on at the school. It's not a really good best foot forward. So I think that's something we need to try to embark upon. I know you, Alessia, you've been doing a lot of work. Obviously you've been showing the slides on the more severe cases that we haven't made progress on. But I think that's something for next year, definitely a focal point from my perspective. I was actually really shocked to know all those developments are going on in Queens Boulevard. I shouldn't be shocked to know that they have no coordination with the DOE in terms of additional spaces. Again, shouldn't be surprising to me, but is. So I think that's definitely something I'd like to jump on as well. I think that's it for now. But actually, I should say we've been addressing a few issues at 139, Sasha. Bespoke one, so I won't get the details, but I think it continues with the theme that we've been discussing. So I think we need to figure out a partner over the summer to how we move things forward there. Thanks, everybody. Have a good June.
Thank you so much, Eric. We're going to have our next member, Cecily Chu, to give her member report.
All right, guys, I know that we're 3.5 hours in and everyone's very tired and so much pressure from the first semester wrapping up. So I'll be really quick. I want to echo what Ms. Zillow, you just spoke about, we shouldn't be sharing space in terms of education, in splitting up the library space and use for classroom. And that kind of reminded me when I visited PS 182, when I stepped into the school and I was giving a tour. And on the right-hand side, there was a very beautiful library and there was a divider just curtain, right, put in the middle. The right-hand side, there's a student like very quietly like reading his books, and on the left-hand side, the teacher and their assistant was like kind of teaching their class. So that dynamic was very interesting to me as a new member in the CEC. I was like, oh, why do we have like a half library on the right and then a class on the left? And I was very confused. So Principal Tupper was talking about how they have a goal to reduce class size, but they don't have enough space in the main building. And as we step outside to see in the schoolyard is very tiny, and compared to like some other schools I've visited, the schoolyard was tiny, and there was construction going on next door. And I was asking him, hey, like, is this expansion of the schoolyard? Because I know apparently a church, a charter school bought the lot next door, right? So it goes back to Ms. Zillow put in the chat as well, not just increasing seats, but maybe increasing buildings as well. But as a new like CEC member, I'm also trying to understand, how DOE determines like what buildings to buy and how to plan that budget, right? Because PS 182 is kind of divided into two buildings. There are two blocks away from each other, so the lower grades are in a separate building. It would be so fantastic, to have a building next to each other and have a joint yard and share that space, right? So I can definitely echo that point, that pain point. So it'll be interesting to see, coming the new school year and like how the budget will be allocated. And coming back to another point, and I'll wrap up. Before in the legislative breakfast, I was at PS 144 attending their career day, which is a very interesting concept. And I would highly recommend, my peers here as CEC and our parent leaders, like if other schools are not doing this is a fantastic idea. They invited parents and were like family friends, were like community members to join the school for half a day to talk about your job, to talk about how you progress, to talk about how you might not land your dream job, right, at the first try, and how you kind of progress of that journey, and to give the kids a different perspective in terms of not everyone is a doctor or a firefighter or a police officer, like in the world. And there are so many different professions, and the kids all had fun. Each of us presented to 4 different classes, like ranging from first grader to like fourth, fifth grader. And they all had so much fun. And all of us got like thank you cards afterwards, and they're all like very personal. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. I don't know if other schools do that as well, but like if any schools is not doing that, I think we definitely should. Yeah, and I would say it's definitely encouraging to see how our younger kids is like thinking about how the world is evolving, like even around themselves, right? And they're asking a lot of interesting questions. Hey, how does drone work? Like how do I think about if a drone needs to deliver a package and it's delivering like a pack of eggs, and how do we make sure when the drone like drops it doesn't break? So thinking about like our third and fourth graders and being able to ask that question and deeply, right? Like how do we, like configure the algorithm to make sure like it drops with caution? Like that was very interesting to me. And I even built some personal like connection with some parents, like wanting to get into eventually like technology in the future, perhaps like build our relationship with the parents as well. That was definitely interesting for me. All right, that's it for me. And I would like to say happy Father's Day and hope everyone have a great summer.
Thank you, Cecily. And now we're going to turn to our illustrious president, Quentin Weston.
Thank you. So Queens High School President's Council. I'm the president of Queens High School President's Council. This was my last meeting this Monday because my son is graduating high school. So yay, thank you. He's going to St. John's University. And so next term, we'll invite that new president to come and present themselves, because that's the pipeline for Queens middle schools to go to high school. So that's awesome. Queens South High Schools had a shining award ceremony, which I was able to be getting an award for just not that position, but also president of this council, because they acknowledge that they represent all 3 districts in the South, 27, 28, and 29. Cool. D75, we had our legislative breakfast. I'm also the vice president on that council. And that was phenomenal. Alicia and Annie came through to Baruch College and we enjoyed a good breakfast and they got to sit front row and hear the concerns of D75. Looking forward to many more of those. CCD75 had an award ceremony breakfast and that was great. That was Tuesday. Got an award there too. It was pretty cool. Carmine, thank you from DSF for helping 175 with ACs. Halsey, AC situation will be dealt with this summer because of parent advocacy and the partnership we have with SCA and DSF. And Carmine is also renovating PS 99, PS 8, PS 80, and Queens Collegiate bathrooms by this summer. That's because you spoke up and we advocated for you and we get things done in this district. We also had a bylaws meeting yesterday. Thank you for everyone who showed up. We appreciate you guys. And this is a good meeting because this is something we get to reflect on as we make these amendments. So that's my time. And if there's nothing else, the time is 9:47. We're going into our next business meeting after this, but I want to adjourn this meeting at 9:47 p.m. so we can now do the next business section. So that being said, happy Father's Day, happy Men's Health, and all the other holidays. Enjoy your evening. You don't have to leave, but you could. Take care. Meeting adjourned 9:47. All right, the time is now 10:01, and I'm calling the business section of our calendar meeting today, June 11th, into order. Recording secretary, could you please take attendance?
Do roll call.
Roll call.
All right, good evening. We have our first Vice President, Lauren Clavin, online.
Present.
Thank you. Our second Vice President, Jennifer Sobers.
Here.
Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry.
No, you're fine. She's here. Recording Secretary Chantal Chambers is present. Treasurer Alicia Bauer.
Here.
Members Lou Zhao.
Here.
Annie Koch.
Here.
Kenya Townsend is not here. Paquita Williams.
Here.
Eric Gretsch. Cecily Chu.
Here.
And our President Quentin Meston.
Here. All right, first thing on our agenda today is the council meeting minutes. Recording secretary.
Okay. So right now we are sharing, sorry, I cannot see it. 1 second. All right, right now we are sharing the minutes from our April calendar and business meeting. This has already been sent out to the council. So I am making a motion that someone says to accept the minutes.
Second. Thank you, recording secretary.
And we have, we do have another set of minutes. That was April that we just saw. We're going to look at the minutes for May, excuse me. So here is the minutes for our May calendar and business meeting. This also has already been sent to the council. I'm making a motion to accept these minutes. Thank you.
All right, next I'd like to bring our first Vice President, Lauren Clavin, to discuss the pending absence remote form.
We had no absences last month. We just have the pending remote absence, remote presence for me. Make a motion to excuse my remote presence today.
The reason.
The reason is I had no childcare for the majority of this meeting, so I chose to be present remotely.
Like, does everyone okay with that? Like, no problem. All right, so that's unanimous. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
next, we are going to, I'm going to make a motion that we could go into executive session so we can then vote on the candidate that we interviewed during our calendar business meeting, Lauren Perkins. So I want to just make a motion that one, we're going to get into executive session, and also, do you guys mind to stay here? We could just turn off our cameras and put it on mute, but we also have our face liaison and Dorinda stay in the room as well. That's cool? Yeah. Awesome. So, all right. We just came back from executive session where we were discussing the candidate that we interviewed in our calendar business meeting. We will now do our roll call vote for our recording secretary.
Okay, we're taking a vote on our candidate Lauren Perkins. First Vice President Lauren Clavin, what say you?
We need more Laurens. I say yes.
All right, a second Vice President Jennifer Sobers.
Yes.
Recording Secretary Chantel Chambers, I say yes. Treasurer Alicia Bauer.
Yes.
Members Lou Zhao. Annie Koch.
Yes.
Akita Williams.
Yes.
Eric Gretsch. Stephanie Chu. President Quentin Meziton.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
we have
it's official today.
If you want to say a little something, I'm gonna give you permission. You could just come off camera. You could say something. But today, June 11th, we just got our last vacant seat on our council filled. Congratulations, Lauren Perkins.
Thank you, guys. We got another Lauren.
Oh, she's talking. Is the speaker on?
Thank you, everybody. That was really cool how we got another Lauren, right? Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, see you in July. Yeah. We'll be getting in touch about the next step, filling your oath and doing those things, but all those things could be done very fast. So congratulations. And next, our CEC28 superintendent evaluation. So the email went to everyone, and I'm going to pull it up on screen so we can go through it.
This is executive session.
This is executive session?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. We always do it in the business. What do you mean? We have to go into executive session to do the superintendent? Yes.
That's executive session.
That's executive session.
For sure.
Okay, so
I was looking through the bylaws.
okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go into executive session to do our evaluation of our superintendent. So, all right, get a second.
Second.
All right, let's black out again. All right, recording's on. All right, so we are coming back from recording from executive session from doing our evaluation on the superintendent. And now that we've come to completion, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. The time is 11:04 p.m., June 11th, and we are adjourning the business section of our calendar meeting. Thank you. Good night.